welcome to another pick a card, pick a group video. If this is the first time that you're seeing me, I am the Hermit Tarot and this is my YouTube channel. A massive welcome back to everybody who is returning, and thank you all so much for exchanging energy with me on this platform. It is a privilege to be able to do what I do, and it's because of you that I get to do that, so thank you. Now, sweet souls, I'm finally doing a future spouse reading. This is going to be a play it by ear reading. My goal is to figure out who your future spouse is and to try to get as many clues and little ways, niche ways that you could identify them. I will be pulling characteristics to see if there's anything that comes out about their appearance as well. And we're also going to take a deep dive into their personality of how you can identify who your future spouse is. In the extended reading, because there is going to be one, we're going to have a look at why and how you'll choose to be together. What makes you each other's future spouse. Now, to help you select a group, I am going to be pulling oracle cards from my Vessel Oracle deck, which is a Spirit Speaks Oracle deck. I love Spirit Speaks. I will also be using the Spirit Speaks Tarot to help us figure out more defining features about your future spouse. But before we do that, we have to start with the groups. So let's open this up. I got my deck from Tarot Stack. And if you would like your own deck, I do have a Tarot Stack affiliate link in the description box below. Can be a good way to support me if you're thinking about buying from Tarot Stack. Now, Spirit, please tune me into the collective. Those who are viewing my reading today, those who are viewing my reading, Spirit, Group 1, what card will help Group 1 obtain additional messages about who their future spouse is? What card will help? Okay, we have Defeat for Group 1. And Group 2, what card will help Group 2 obtain additional messages about who? We have Truth for Group 2. And Group 3, please Spirit, what card will help Group 3 obtain additional messages about who? We have Childhood. And what about Group 4, please Spirit, what card will help Group 4 obtain additional messages? Okay, we're going to take Trust for Group 4. Okay, let me go get some crystals and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've picked out some crystals for each of the groups, starting over here with Group 1. You guys have the Defeat card, and you also have this beautiful, colorful crystal here. It's like a bluey, violet, indigo looking crystal. I do not remember the name of it, y'all. I'm so sorry. Y'all should be used to me by now if you've been coming here. But if you feel drawn towards the crystal or the card, this will be your group. You'll be in Group 1's reading. Group 2, you have the Truth card. Now, I chose a red crystal for Group 2. This is a form of jasper, and it has a very grounding energy to it. So if you feel drawn towards this crystal or this card, you will be a part of Group 2's reading. Group 3, you have the Childhood card. And you also have this, I'm pretty sure it's a chrysoprase crystal. I could be wrong there. But it has hues of green, like of brilliant emerald green. And it also has the sort of turquoise blues. And if you have a look at the Childhood card, the egg has turquoise blue emerging from the middle of the green. So if you feel drawn towards this card or this crystal, you'll be a part of Group 3's reading. And then over here, we have the Group 4's card, Trust. And you also have this big chunk of malachite crystal. Very green energy coming from Group 4's crystal. So if you feel drawn towards this crystal or this card, then you'll be a part of group 4's reading. Pause the video if you do need more time selecting a group. When you know which of these 4 groups you feel most drawn to, click on the timestamps in the pinned comment or the description box and join me in your reading. So the first thing I want you to do with me is to take in 2 deep, mindful breaths. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. Now I want you to focus on clearing your mind. It's natural to have thoughts racing at this point. I want you to embrace each thought as it comes and let it slip as quickly as it came in. Focus on clearing and balancing out these thoughts so that they come and go without a desire to be attached to them. And now, with a rested mind, I want you to think of the first group that comes to your mind. It may be a number, it may be an object that I showed you. It could be a specific color. It could be a feeling that you felt when I showed you each of the groups today. When you are ready and when you feel confident, select your group and join me in your reading. Group 1s, and welcome to your reading. If you chose the Defeat card from the Vessels Oracle deck by Spirit Speaks, or if you chose this beautiful crystal right here, then this is going to be your reading. Welcome, sweet souls. I'm going to put your crystal up there and we're going to get into it. Now this card is going to tell us more about your person. I think that this person may be somebody who has been through a lot. With the Defeat card coming out, there is an intuitive feeling here of them kind of having maybe a low threshold. They may not be somebody who can take on a lot, and there may be someone who's learned how to really protect themselves as well from taking on too much. I get this energy of them being very focused on themselves and potentially healing at the time that you two are coming into each other's lives. If you already know this person, they may currently be going through a stage of healing and feeling like they really need to focus on themselves. Now that card is going to be more relevant as we continue your reading, but I do just want to kind of get into other divination tools as well to get more information about who your future spouse is. We're really just getting straight into it, group 1. So let's see. I've got some story dice here. Spirit, what can you tell us about group 1's future spouse? Who is group 1's future spouse? Okay. Might zoom in a little bit actually. Who is group 1's future spouse? Interesting. Anything else, Spirit? Who is group 1's future spouse, Spirit? No, that's it. Okay, so we got 4 dice that wanted to come out. Interesting. I feel like you're quite a catch. I feel like this person will be pursuing you and they'll be very interested in making it known to you that they are pursuing you. They want to make it known to others. This person will feel like they've hit the mother lode with you, my group 1s. They come across as somebody who, very active in pursuing you. There is an energy of this person bouncing back. So at the time that you meet them, they may be going through something, but they're regaining their sense of self, bouncing back. I get that this person, see, this is interesting. This person may not see themselves in a high light. They may have, they may talk down about themselves. They could use humor to do that. This person could have low self-esteem though, like they just don't see themselves very well. I feel like this person is kind of shocked that someone like you would be interested in someone like them. They come across as somebody who has to like double check, like, are you serious? Really? Like, is this real? It's like they want to like make sure, and because of that they seem to be very active and in wanting to pursue you, especially in the beginning, making it known to you that they're interested. They may even do some quirky little things to kind of test how interested you are in them. They may feel a little bit unsure about the fact that someone like you could want someone like them. In terms of their personality, I'm getting this interesting energy of this person feeling like you met them at a time when they aren't really at their peak. Like they could feel like you're seeing them at a time where they're in a bit of a low in their life. Like, oh, if you had only met me like 2 years ago, or if you could only wait for, another 6 months, you would have seen me better. So there is this weird energy of like feeling like you kind of came in at an awkward time in their life. And they may even prefer to kind of show you photos of them from like years ago, or they may be saying things to you like, oh yeah, just wait until I get this, or wait until I do that. There's a strong energy of this person not being comfortable in their present moment and pursuing something very actively. This person feels like they're pursuing a goal, or it feels like they're pursuing something with you in hopes that you will change the trajectory of their future as well. There is a dreamer energy about this person, and there's also a little bit of a pessimistic energy about this person. But it doesn't feel overwhelming, it just feels present, like it is a part of this person's energy when you meet them. The fact that they're healing is definitely a part of this person's energy when you meet them. So let's see if we can get any more clues about this person. Spirit, what else can you tell us about this person? Who is Group 1's future spouse? Who is Group 1's future spouse, Spirit? Okay, we have Grand Cross, and we have 9th house and Jupiter. I'm getting ginger. I don't know why I said it like that, but like red hair. Might not be on their head, it could be in other parts of their body. I'm also seeing fair features, grey hair, white hair, blonde hair, on parts of their body. There could be an age gap. There could even be a cultural difference. If there is an age gap, this person feels older than you, my Group 1s. But they might act immature. This person uses humor to deflect. It's part of their personality, a dark humor, but also like it's self-deprecating for sure. It doesn't have to be super, beating themselves up, self-deprecating, but it's self-deprecating enough to where with the 11th house here, sorry, I don't know if you can see that. I showed it briefly. It's at the back of the deck. It's showing you more about this person's flaws. Like there is insecurity here and they joke about it. Now, I think that this person is someone who is very uniquely talented. There's something very unique about this person's skill set or background or upbringing They may be a little out of their depths in your environment, and at times that makes them come across as someone potentially uneducated, but they have a depth of experience. This is somebody who has lived many lives, and they have a unique past life in this lifetime where they lived out something very interesting. And I feel like right now they might be, or like when you meet them, they might be very sort of go with the flow, just letting things materialize for them. A little bit of a free spirit, a traveler, a wanderer, someone who doesn't like to be too restrained. But that's because in their past life, before you met them, they were someone who was very structured. This person comes across as a little bit of I want to say that they use what they know to kind of alienate themselves sometimes. A little bit of like a black sheep with that 11th house energy. They don't like to fit in. They don't try to fit in. They just do what feels right to them. They kind of just sort of breeze in. They wear what they want. And they do what they need to do to survive in the structures around them. But I feel that there is this energy of like a rebel in them, an anarchist, someone who is frustrated by the systems and the structures and who does what they can to rebel against that. In terms of who they are, Grand Cross Reverse tells me that they may be someone with a lot of opinions, and they may be someone that rubs people the wrong way. I think that this person doesn't mean to be confrontational. They don't mean to be someone who's, negative. But I do think that some people just don't get along with them. I think that they have enough of like an Aquarius influence to the point where they're not compatible with everybody. And they don't care about that, if I'm honest with you. They, with the Grand Cross Reverse, know that they're not everyone's cup of tea, and they know that they weren't made to be everyone's best friend. They don't pretend to be anything but themselves. But because of that, they do seem to be used to people not being able to get along with them or like gravitate towards them. They may also be used to people kind of getting the wrong impression of them, or they may be used to rubbing people up the wrong way. Saying things that gets them into trouble, doing things that gets them into trouble. They come across as somebody who's a bit of an antagonist. And there's charm in that. I'm not going to lie. Like, you guys are very attracted to this person's authenticity. You're very attracted to the fact that they are someone who's very free-spirited, and they don't have malintent in their heart space. Like, they're not out here trying to hurt other people. They're just trying to be themselves. And I think that at the time that you meet them, they are on a bit of a journey trying to seek themselves. They've hit this new sort of part of themselves that's identifying, well, I can't be who I was, but I'm not comfortable with who I am in the present. So they're on this journey of change and development. And there could be some very physical changes in their life that are very demanding of them, that has them very focused. But there's also this energetic shift that has them seeking more, wanting more, craving more. And so their desire to be more is very attractive to you. This person may have a very open mind. They may be spiritual with this 9th house Jupiter energy, but they come across as a very lucky person. Like, whatever they've been through, whatever they're going through, it could be a lot worse. And they come across as someone who's very favored, in that they may have even been given a chance to live, faced a near-death experience, something like that. All of this Jupiter and 9th house energy does come across as somebody who is trying to just sort of live in the moment and take advantage of the opportunities that life throws at them. I do think that because of this person may not have firm roots. They may live a more nomadic lifestyle. They may prefer to travel frequently. They may be in temporary accommodation or something at the time that you meet them. They may be someone who's well-traveled. They may be someone with a lot of experience behind them, like I said, they may be someone from a different cultural background, but they come across as someone who's very worldly, who has seen things in the world that they don't even need to kind of communicate very deeply for you to understand that, yes, like this person has culture. And although it may not be like they grew up around a specific culture, in their adulthood, they were exposed to things in the world that has made them seem very worldly, very well-rounded. They do come across as a bit of a risk taker as well, a little bit of a fool, and they may have made a lot of foolish decisions in their life. They come across as a rebel and an anarchist, and that in tandem with feeling like they're favored by the universe could mean that this person has done things that they're not exactly proud of, but it's made them the person that they are today. And would they do it again? Maybe not, but at least they ticked it off the bucket list. This is someone who isn't afraid to live, and I feel like they will do almost anything at least once. And I also feel like this is somebody with the 9th house and Jupiter who is still keen to kind of get out there, regardless of what they've been through, and experience more and really take more of the world in. I really want to know more about this defeat energy now. Spirit, why does the defeat energy, how does the defeat energy come into this person's personality? How does the defeat energy come into this person's personality, Spirit? We have the Page of Pentacles. We have the Two of Cups reversed. And the Ten of Swords. This person has not always had great experiences in love. Maybe before they met you, they really fell for somebody who really let them down. They feel like they put a lot of effort into that connection, but they met that person at a time when they were a little naive around love and relationships. And I feel like they met that person at a time when they were still unlocking their potential. So with that defeat energy, it's a reflection of their mindset when it comes to love. This person is skeptical. This person has been through heartbreak on a level that made them feel cynical that they could truly have a genuine relationship. And I believe that when you meet them, they may feel like a little bit hypervigilant about differences and a little bit afraid of being betrayed again and giving too much too soon in fears of people not hanging around. This is somebody who feels like the last time they invested a significant amount of time and effort and even money into a relationship, they were given up on. Their partner gave up on them. Their partner said to them, look, this just isn't working for me. I feel like we're too different. I feel like you're just not changing in the way that I am. I feel like we're growing in different directions and I see a lot of potential, but I'm not seeing a lot of growth. And this person felt very frustrated because they felt like they put a lot of growth and effort into this. They felt like this person was being very impatient and not understanding them, not seeing their value and what they were actually doing. And they felt very disappointed. I think that this affected them more than they let on in the moment. I think in the moment they just had to do something quickly to react, and they maybe handled the ending very well on the surface, but internally they still take that personally and they still feel as though they are going to be stuck in that cycle of being disappointed if they choose to give that energy to somebody again, that version of themselves to somebody again. I see a romantic energy in this person's heart space. I see this as somebody who, when they like someone, they really dive in. But when you meet them, they seem to be trying to steer and redirect that restlessness into other aspects of their life so that they don't get too carried away with you. So, Spirit, how will my sweet souls meet this person? How will my group ones meet their future spouse, Spirit? How will my group ones meet their future spouse? We have Neptune. How will my group ones meet their future spouse, Spirit? We have Leo. We have Eros. Interesting. You will like this person as soon as you see them. You're very physically attracted to them. Waning crescent moon. You'll meet this person when you're ending a relationship with somebody else. The circumstances feel as though it will happen more towards the end of a month. You'll meet this person towards the end of a month. And it feels like when you meet this person, you're wrapping up one cycle and trying to figure out, well, how do I prepare? What do I want to do next? Now, this is in terms of your emotions. There could be other things happening in your life at the same time that have you feeling like you need to prepare for new beginnings, especially when it comes to your home. It could feel like you're preparing a new part of your lifestyle to kind of accommodate for this new mindset in your emotional capacity. You may be cleaning out your home, you may be preparing a room in your home, or you may be looking for a new home as well. There's this energy of you shifting though to be able to accommodate emotionally for new beginnings. But when you meet this person, there is still an emotional cycle that you are ending with waning crescent moon. And this cycle is about you reflecting and processing. You don't feel emotionally tied to this ending anymore, like you're not sad, but you are having to process and reflect on what you've learned in this previous cycle. And this reflection is about you taking wisdom from what you've learned and trying to apply that to your circumstances as you start this new connection. When you meet this person, you will feel like you're in a more enlightened space. You will feel like you're in a good space to have room for them to come in, but you will also feel like you're wanting to date. You will also feel like you're wanting space to focus on yourself, and you will also feel a little bit lost when it comes to your sense of direction and purpose. Even if you're feeling grounded, Neptune has you thinking a little bit daydreamy when it comes to this connection. You don't really know how this person fits in immediately, and you may be more likely to romanticize them or to romanticize your life at the time that they're coming in. You're in this weird energy where, yes, there's a lot to look forward to, but as you're still trying to reflect on what you've been through recently, you'd prefer to just kind of dream and daydream and fantasize instead of getting into the hard labor of starting a new beginning straight away. Let's just dream and fantasize about what that could look like first. Let's just enjoy this moment for what it is. Let's just romanticize our lives for a little bit before we get struck with reality. And I do think that you might even have a little bit of a crush on each other before you get fully acquainted. There is a feeling here of you being very physically attracted to each other. Leo says that this person's energy is quite charming. I think that they make a strong first impression, but I think that the impression that they make is that they're quite focused on themselves and you're also quite focused on yourself. Through an air of confidence, you become attracted to each other. There is this feeling here of maybe you not being able to know much about this person straight away, which is why your imagination fills in the gaps. You kind of imagining what they're like and what they could kind of be like if the two of you got to know each other better. I do think that the way that you meet is indirectly at first, not necessarily in person, but I think that most of your exchanges are during the day in the beginning, and at nighttime you're left to kind of think a lot about each other. Now, I do think that when it comes to how the two of you will meet, it may be that you're chasing external validation at first, and you could also meet in an outdoors venue. But it does feel like this main theme is that having this person's attention and vice versa, them having your attention, is definitely an ego boost, and it makes you feel really good about yourselves. You could meet this person during Pisces season or Sagittarius season. Pisces season is February, March, or Pisces could be significant, and Sagittarius season is November, December. I don't know the dates exactly, but it's about halfway through November and halfway through December. I think it's like the 20th of November to the 23rd of December, 22nd of December. Just from the top of my head, but let's have a look. It will tell us here as well. I just need to talk a little bit more about that waning crescent moon. The waning crescent moon, its key word in the guidebook is ending, and it's the final step in the cycle. It's now time for rest and recuperation. Nothing can be done in this moment. You just need to wait it out. I do feel like how you'll meet this person is that they do pursue you. I feel like this person will be the one putting the energy into pursuing you. I think that you're more reserved. You're just sort of leaning back and letting this person step forward. And for Neptune to be here, keep an eye out for symbols like tridents, seashells, water lilies, boats, and dolphins. You could also be seeing the number 12. Or the number 6 or 5 or 65 could be significant based on the guidebook in this deck. It's got nothing to do with Neptune itself. I do think that Neptune's influence is also encouraging you to go with the flow more, with that water energy. The way that you meet this person is when you're more receptive to meeting people, when you're allowing yourself to be open to others, and when you're allowing others to be open to you and to show you. This person has clammy vibes. They may not open up easily, and it could take a little while to pry this person open and to be able to see the inner sides of them, the true sides to them, the softer sides to them. You may be feeling like you have to kind of pull them or draw them out of their shell a little bit. The way that you meet this person could have something to do with lowering your inhibitions as well and opening your mind a little bit more, kind of being in an environment where maybe alcohol or drugs are used. Even if you're not the one that's using them, it could be an environment where people take substances to be a little bit inebriated and to lower their inhibitions. Neptune does also talk about solitude and having self-reflection. So it could be at a time where you're trying to decipher deeper meaning and trying to filter out superficial energies and influences. It could be at a time where you're seeking people who are a little bit more honest and authentic and less fake. Neptune can also talk about self-destructive behaviors. So in terms of how you meet them, it could be happening at a time where you are finding yourself slipping off the rails a little bit, maybe giving into your vices a little bit more, and maybe more likely to engage in habits that are considered self-destructive or self-sabotaging. There is also a psychic ability associated with this beautiful planet. So I think at your core, you will be able to feel a connection to this person, and you will be able to notice that this person is very different to what you're used to in a good way. Now, I do want to talk about that Leo energy too, to see if there are any other influences that could be impactful. Key dates could be July 22nd to August 22nd in terms of how you'll meet this person. It could be Leo season. We also have the symbols yellow, flowers, cats, flames, peacocks, citrine, the crystal, and amber, the crystal, as well as the color. This energy does also talk about creativity, and we do have Neptune here as well talking about creativity. So you guys may be feeling more creative, you may be feeling impulsive, and you may feel a desire to create more than usual. There is an energy here of you acting like the main character in the movie that is your life. So you meet this person at a time where you're trying to get back into being the main character in your life. I don't feel like your ego is out of proportion. I don't think that you're on an ego trip or anything. I think that you're trying to healthily engage your ego. And you're also trying to understand where this person's ego is at. You may be trying to figure out if they're just pursuing you for validation or vice versa. But I think that you're actively trying to stay in a positive mindset, and you could be very drawn to this person's honesty more than anything. I don't think that they're the most positive person, but I think that their honesty and potentially an act of courage really draws you into them. There are also themes like leadership associated with Leo. So there could be an energy of you leading something or being a leader in some way, or you being drawn to this person because they have leadership qualities in some way as well. How you seem to meet them is by seeing their personality shine in a very unique, honest way that also seems to be tied to themes of creativity, leadership, and courage. So that's what really draws the two of you in together. I do feel like the number 5 is significant for some reason. The number 24 could be significant as well in terms of an age. Now let's have a look at that Eros, the asteroid. I'm usually pretty good with Eros because it does come out a lot in our readings. It is definitely the lover, and symbols associated with Eros are arrows, swans, doves, blindfolds, candles, and heart. Now this card is all about romance, passion, sex, love, the blending of energy and desire. When it is reversed, it asks us to look deep inside ourselves and find our passion. It could be anything. What matters is what lights your soul on fire. So this asteroid wants you to realize your dreams and utilize your dreams to keep you going. So the way that you meet this person, there's this energy of dreams here for sure. I do think that you're very attracted to each other. I think that you have a similar sort of pull towards each other. But I also think that your subconscious desires seem to kind of draw you towards each other as well. There could be an energy of trying to keep things light and fun in the beginning. Eros reversed to me can indicate a more casual connection. It can indicate someone who wants the benefits of intimacy without the sort of commitment. So you may be experimenting a little bit when you meet this person. Spirit, is there anything you can tell us about how they meet? How does group 1 meet their future spouse? How you have the 7 of Cups over Neptune. You have many choices. You'll meet this person when you're also maybe dating other people, or you're open to meeting people. So you'll have a lot of choices. Leo and the Queen of Pentacles, you're still figuring out who works for you. You guys may also be selling yourselves short a little bit, not realizing your full potential and understanding what works well with your idea of a partner. You may be open to more casual connections as well, but it feels like overall with the Queen of Pentacles reversed, you're taking commitment seriously. You're not just sort of cuffing for the sake of cuffing season. So it has to be the right kind of person. I do think that you're very focused on protecting yourself. So there is this energy here of, yes, I have options, but who is the best one? In terms of how you meet this person, you're doing what you can to not compromise your worth, but you're also making sure that you're not cutting yourself too short. So I feel like you're wanting to kind of get out there and mingle at the time that you meet this person. You're open to meeting people, but you're not open to giving the most valuable parts of yourself away straight away. I hope that makes sense. That's what it kind of feels like. With the 8 of Pentacles reversed, I think that this has to do with you trying to do things differently. I do really think that something has ended in your life at the time that you meet this person, a relationship or a situationship or a potential budding romance has ended, and you're kind of off the back of that going, well, that didn't work, so what can I do differently this time? How can I restructure my formula, my approach, so that I'm more open to somebody different, somebody more honest and maybe not my usual type? That's what's coming through, sweet souls. I think we're going to have to move forward. Part of you has definitely lost hope that you will be able to meet somebody. You may meet them through friends or online as well, with the Star card coming out. So let's have a look now at your first impressions of each other. Okay. Spirit, what will my viewers' first impression of their future spouse be? What will my viewers' first impression of their future spouse be? Your first impression of them is the Fixed energy reversed. And what is their future spouse's first impression of my viewer? Okay, we have Leo and we have the 10th house. So this person sees you as a very bright, creative, positive, funny person. And they definitely see you as someone that shines bright. They honestly see potential in you from the beginning. The two of you probably see each other with a lot of potential. With the 10th house reverse, they are aware that you're a high value person, but they may not feel confident in their ability to be able to give you what you deserve. I think with the 10th house reverse, this person sees you as someone that has somewhat of a legacy or a reputation already, and they may sort of feel like either like you're protective of that, or they might do something that could make you hesitant to share that with you, to share that with them. There's this question mark around what you've created for yourself and how do I kind of fit into it, coming from their angle. Their first impression of you is that you're a very bright person. You're hard to miss. You're very physically attractive. You're charming. You're funny. But you also just come across as someone who probably gets a lot of attention. Someone who's, you know, the star of the show, the light in the room, the one that people want, the one that people gravitate towards. You burn really brightly. And this person will find you very attractive from the beginning, but they find your personality very attractive too. You could show them some aspects of you that are creative, and they find that very attractive as well. This person's first impression is that you do have a creative energy about you, a passionate energy about you. So even if you don't channel that into the stereotypical forms of creativity, they just see you as a very passionate person and someone that has a lot of desire. They do see you as someone who has a lot of confidence as well. It's displayed in the way that you dress yourself. This person loves the way that you dress, and their first impression is that you do take care of yourself. They may see you as someone that is a little bit conscious of their appearance, for better or for worse. I'm not getting it in a negative way, but they feel like you are conscious about how you look and about how they perceive you. They do question who else has your attention when you first meet. They definitely are under the impression that people are fighting over you or fighting for your attention, your energy. And they have some sort of question mark around your reputation and whether they, being a black sheep, would tarnish your reputation. This person may be very intrigued by what you do as a career path, and they may also be very intrigued by your lifestyle, because you come across as somebody who has some sort of financial gain, some sort of leg to stand on when it comes to money. So their impression with the 10th house reversed is, do they compromise what you have for yourself? The other message that I'm getting with the 10th house reversed is they could be under the impression that your career is very important to you one way or another, either because you're at a point in your life where you're redirecting your effort and you're questioning, like, should I change my career? Or it's because you have this reputation and a very stable career. They may feel like something about your career is very important to you, and it forms a big part of their first impression of you as well. With the fixed energy over here, your impression about this person is that they are who they are. They come across as a little bit stubborn, and I'm seeing a lot of the shadow aspects of this fixed energy. It makes me think that this person is quite loud and proud. They may be a fixed sign, but they definitely come across as somebody who you got to take them as they are. Like, there's no room for a casual here. Like, there's no room for flexibility. They come across as quite a strong personality, and in that way there's a charm to them, because you feel like they're just presenting themselves in a very authentic, genuine way. And you also feel like this person is somebody who I wouldn't say that you could necessarily trust, but they just come across as very honest. When they want to do something, they do it. When they want to say something, they say it. And I do think that this person's communication seems to make a very big impact on you. Something about what they say to you really rings true. I'm getting a lot of Aquarius influences in this person's energy as your first impression of them. I'm also seeing with fixed reversed that part of this person feels a little bit detached. Your first impression is that they may be trying to just kind of like lay down some ground rules with you, or they may be trying to come across as somebody who's being very clear about who they are, like trying to really illustrate to you the type of person that they are. They're also coming across as someone that's a little bit closed off in the beginning, a little bit of a rebel, and somebody who is really trying to kind of present in a very specific way. I don't think that they're trying to be anyone but themselves, but they may come across with their personality on strong mode, you know, instead of just easing into it. They feel like somebody who is very clearly them, like they're not pretending to be anybody else. Almost trying to show you the worst sides of them first to see if you can handle that. I do think that this person is focused on finding a sense of stability, and your first impression is that they're very good at expressing themselves, but they're good to a fault. Like, they're expressing the worst sides of themselves sometime. You also believe that this person's social connections are resourceful, but they give you an impression of their social circle being a little bit exclusive, and as though you may have to win over their friends in order to really win them over. There is also this feeling of this person having some sort of community that they've created for themselves and really thriving in that community. And you're wondering, well, how do I fit into that too? I believe that this person is maybe focused on creating some sort of foundation for themselves, and they may be kind of trying to find ways to expand that has you questioning, well, how do I fit into what they're building right now? How does our future kind of fit together? That is your first impressions of each other. I do want to have a look at advice before we go into the extended reading. Spirit, actually, let's get more physical attributes. Okay, what else can you tell us about this person's physical attributes, Spirit? With this deck, what else can you tell us about this person's physical attributes? What will my group one's future spouse physically look like, Spirit? What will my group one's future spouse physically? Okay, the Chariot is really coming out. Very strong energy here. What will my group one's future spouse physically look like? Okay. Okay, so they will love the color green. They might have green eyes. The color green is very significant. Can we zoom in? Yeah, we can. The number 4 and 3 are significant too. This person could have back problems. The number 3. I feel like they have a really nice, strong chest. They walk with their chest. They walk with their shoulders back and their chest out. If they're a woman, they have nice breasts. Doesn't mean they have big titties, you know what I mean? We're not talking about size. We're talking about you will be attracted to their chest. If they are a man, I feel like their chest is really like a feature that you like. You like looking at their chest. There could be something on their chest, a necklace, a tattoo that you're very attracted to as well. There could be piercings on their chest as well. When it comes to facial features, this person could have longer hair. I am seeing straighter hair. The way that it could be curly is if it's still longer. I feel like this person has hair that you can put your fingers through, if that makes sense. And that's something that you're going to do when you first meet them. I do think that this is somebody who has a long nose, long and defined nose. They also have thinner eyebrows. Look at these two people. They have very similar features, even though one's a man and one's a woman. We're not going to assume gender, but they have very similar features. And I think both of them have green eyes too. Darker hair or bronzy hair. It doesn't have to be, it still looks ashy to me though. But yeah, it could be like browner hair, darker hair, bronzy hair. I do think that this person is going to maybe be clean shaven. I do feel like they take pride in how they look, but there is something really earthy about how they present. So they take pride because it means something to them, but like if they want to switch up their style, they will, you know, like they care more about their health than their appearance. That's what they come across as, someone who cares about their health rather than their appearance. And they don't come across as someone who's bothered to look unkempt. So if they do have longer hair, facial hair, it's well maintained, it's clean. They care more about their health than how they look. This person has really strong shoulders and arms. I feel like they have longer limbs, or they just come across as somebody that likes to hold you. And I think that you're gonna like that interaction of being held by them. They come across as very strong. We're getting two images here. So if they are a stereotypical masculine, their forearms come across as a feature that you notice immediately. I think that you're very drawn to their hair more than anything, their eyes, and the way that they carry themselves comes across as very confident, which is very attractive. Brown and green seem to be very significant features on this person's body. And I don't think you're attracted to their smile as much as you're attracted to their thinking face. Like this person's face when they're thinking about something or trying to focus on something is very attractive to you. If they're stereotypically feminine, whether they're a woman or not, this person will have a softness to their body that you really find attractive. I still think that they have a strong torso. And I think that this person has a very warm personality as well. There's something about you wanting to be physically close to them, like physically close to their chest. I stand by what I said about their chest as well. But if they're a stereotypical woman, I also think that their eyes are their prettiest feature. And I think that there's something about their hair that really draws you in. It's very unique. But they come across as somebody who is very like physically focused on you, and when they look at you is when you're most attracted to them. If they're a stereotypical woman, when they're giving you their full attention is when you find them most attractive. There's something about this person's gaze, like they kind of look off into the distance a lot, and this person may not like to maintain eye contact. So when they do, you find that very attractive. The way that they carry themselves, if they're a feminine energy, is very attractive to you. They may move with grace, and they also have moments when they move with intention that you find to be very beautiful. This person's figure is very attractive to you too. And I do think that if they're masculine, they could be a little bit shorter. If they're a woman, they may even be a little bit taller. But regardless of height, there's this overall way, if they're a woman or a feminine energy, of how they carry themselves that's very physically attractive. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. Let us move out now. Is there anything else, Spirit? The number 7 in terms of a physical attribute. I already did 4, 3. 7 is just 4 plus 3, so that's interesting. 34 could be significant as well, or 43, 73, 74, 37, 47. Okay, the number 7 as an attribute makes me think of their head. I'm just using it as a chakra system if you haven't guessed already. Makes me think of their head. What's going on with their head? This person could have injuries in their head. But if it's not injuries, something about their head is standing out. So it could be their hair, their eyes, you know, their lips. I feel like you really enjoy looking at them, their face in general. But the 7 makes me think of like the crown of their head. So like their head of hair, the hair that they have seems to be very attractive. Okay, I think that's all I'm getting. Let's get you some advice now. What is some advice for my group 1s when it comes to meeting their future spouse, Spirit? Oops, shouldn't have done that. Ooh, nearly dropped my whole deck. My whole deck. All right, we're going to use this deck. Spirit, what is some advice? Uh-oh, there we go. That you have for my group 1s when it comes to meeting their future spouse. What is some advice that you have for my group 1s when it comes to meeting their future spouse, Spirit? Oh, wow. You're being encouraged to be open-minded, open-hearted, to let this person come to you. For my viewer, don't take the lead. Let this person's energy pursue you. Communicate. And when this person presents as a new opportunity, if you're confused, communicate that. If you need clarity, communicate that. If you need time, communicate that. There is an interesting energy here in the beginning of the two of you kind of being in a space of confusion and needing time to understand what you want and how you feel before having the opportunity to communicate that to the other person. This is presenting as a new opportunity in love. So I don't think that this is a past person unless you're already dating them. The advice for all my viewers is to enjoy this new opportunity and to treat it as a new opportunity. If you're with this person already, you will have a new opportunity in your connection to express love and to experience love in its varied forms. That doesn't necessarily mean acts of love. It could be more affection. It could be more intimacy. I think that for all of you, this connection encourages you to experience intimacy and emotional intimacy in a different way. You and this person are definitely people that bring different aspects of each other's personalities out, and you may seem like an opposites attract sort of situation, but there's a lot of compatibility, and communication will be your strong suit. Your ability to start conversations that are important and responding to important conversations is what strengthens your connection in the early days, as well as respecting each other's space, because this person is definitely still healing and because you're still reflecting on how far you've come in your journey. So that's what I'm seeing for you, my group 1s. I'm going to take this into the extended reading now, where we will have a look at why and how you and your future spouse will choose to be together. This is looking more at your relationship and what the nature of your connection will be like. So if that's interesting, and especially if the first part of your reading has resonated, the link to your extended reading is in the description box and the pinned comment. I highly recommend that you double double check, triple check before you spend any money that you've selected the right group, please, before you buy your extended reading. Remember your group 1 of the Who is Your Future Spouse reading that I posted in August 2021. What? 2021? Oh my days. 2024. I posted it in August 2024, but it's been a journey. We've been doing this for a while now. So thank you so much for all of your time, your energy, and your support right here on YouTube, wherever it is that you're choosing to go from here. I wish you peace, love, prosperity, happiness, abundance, health, wealth, success, and joy on your journey ahead until we cross paths again. Bye. Hi, my group 2s, and welcome to your reading. If you recognize this truth card or this beautiful gem that I have in my hands, then this is going to be your reading with me. Group 2, we're asking Spirit, who is your future spouse? We are going to be getting a detailed look at their personality, how you will identify them, and we're also going to have a look at basically how the two of you will meet and roughly when this person is coming in. The reason why I say roughly is because this is a general reading. So with this many predictions in one group, I'm going to do my best to get as many clear, honest, and specific messages for all of you. But I do want to make sure that it is messages that are going to resonate for the majority of you that picked this group. So I do highly recommend that you take notes of what does resonate and make a little list on the side of your paper of what doesn't resonate, just in case it resonates at a later date. With that being said, let's get straight into it. So the first message that I'm getting with this truth card is that your future spouse is somebody who probably values honesty. They may be someone who feels like they live with a lot of integrity, and they may be somebody who is really focused on finding someone who is authentic and truthful. These could be very important values to them for multiple reasons, but the main message that I'm getting is that they maybe weren't treated very well in a previous connection. This person may have felt like their previous partner was very either dishonest or just wasn't giving them the full truth about how they were thinking and feeling throughout that connection. For some of you, these issues stem back to their childhood and the relationships that were modeled to them when they were younger, whether that means their own parents or just people that they grew up around. For some reason, it's very important for this person that they find somebody who values truth, honesty as much as they do. This is somebody who seems to be an active communicator. They are somebody who probably replies really quickly to your messages. And if they are busy, like they are busy, they'll communicate that. I think that they would value and expect the same, but I also feel like this person is someone who is going to show you through communication that they're really interested in you and getting to know you. Outside of communication, I feel like this is somebody who is going to have maybe ask you some pretty big questions while you're still getting to know each other to kind of weed out how authentic you are and how much you actually want the same thing as them. It's like they're trying to figure out if you are who you say you are. I think that this person, their values for truth even stem down to the type of person that they're mostly interested in. I think that this person would prefer to be able to see you for who you are. Now, for some reason, this is coming back as them getting the chance to see you natural, okay, with everything, you know, stripped back, whether you are somebody who likes to be done up or not. There is this feeling of them really bonding and connecting with you once they get to see you for who you truly are. Your birthday suit is what I'm hearing. Now, aside from your appearance, I feel like this is somebody who really wants to make sure that your connection starts on the right foot. So They may be very focused on portraying a very positive image of themselves. They may even be somebody who comes on a little bit strong as they try to project a very sort of idealized version of themselves, or their best version of themselves. They may be somebody who takes a lot of pride in their appearance, and your first couple of meetings, although they want to come across as authentic, they may also come across as someone who is doing the most to really kind of show you their best side and who they feel they truly are at their core. So an interesting message, and it's a little bit contradictory at times, because while they value your ability to kind of look one way and be one way, they seem to not be able to give you the same thing. Like they're somebody that likes to kind of, what I think is, they hide behind physical things that they've become attached to in one way or another. I don't think this is a bad thing, but I think that like this is somebody who maybe can't leave the house without their brows being done, you know, or they can't leave the house without their favorite shoes on, or it could be something like that, but it's something physical that they do to their appearance that boosts their self-esteem. So I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just like a little habit that impacts the way that they see themselves, and it boosts the way that they believe others see them. Now, I do want to pull some dice for you guys to see what else we can learn about this person. Spirit, who is my Group 2's future spouse? Let's have a look at their personality now. Group 2. Spirit, who is my Group 2's future spouse? Who is my Group 2's future spouse? Oh, we got a lot of cards. A lot of cards, a lot of dice. Okay, we're going to leave it there. All right, we have 6 dice. I'm going to move this in so we can all have a look. Okay, let's actually move the camera down here into the light a bit more. Okay, and we'll move it. Oh, that's why. I was only supposed to move in that much. I was like, why is it so close? Okay, so your first dice over here. Interesting. Are we even focused? There we go. So this dice is saying that this person is somebody who is very productive. I also think that they're somebody that may struggle to sit still, a very helpful person. Their primary love language seems to be acts of service, as well as, what's that other one where you like do things for people? It's acts of service, and there's another love language that's mostly like physical, like doing things. It's not just acts of service. I want to say physical touch too, but there's something about this person where they want to help. They want to like be a part of your lifestyle, your routine. They don't just want to, you know, show up on the weekends. Like they want to be there for the hard stuff too. They are somebody who's always putting their hand up to help the people that they care about. Because of that, they may be a very important person in their community, whether that's with their family and friends or like with a community organization. They come across as somebody who's always saying, yep, I can do that. Because they like to be seen well as well. Their public image is quite important to them. Could have Capricorn placements, Libra placements. We also have this interesting, is it focused? Yeah. So this tells me that this is somebody that likes to kick goals, which tells me that they're very ambitious and quite reactive. They're giving type A personality, to be honest with you. This person doesn't shy away from a challenge. And for that reason, for some of you, they don't shy away from conflict and confrontation as well. If they feel like somebody is challenging them or really kind of pushing them, they push back. They don't back down. They don't give up easily. This is someone who was raised to be reactive, progressive, and to keep on moving. They're a fighter. I'm hearing they're a warrior. They may follow a but but they don't give up easily. And I think with this specific dice, their personality comes through as somebody who's always got something going on. They may value team sports as well. They may value teamwork and being in a team player. But they also come across as a leader, somebody who likes to lead people and manage people as well. We have this interesting dice. So physical exercise seems to be really important to this person. I see them constantly moving their body. They may be in good shape in general, or they may be somebody that has interests that are quite physically demanding. They probably don't see it as exercise, but I think that they are physically moving quite a lot. I think that this person doesn't do conventional stuff, or they wouldn't think that what they do is conventional. They do come across as somebody who's always on the move as well. So like this is more imagery of somebody getting off something and physically moving off something. So I just feel like this is someone who's always active. Activity is really important to them. Oh, okay. We have some sneaky energy here, some stealing, saving, and money. So the thing is, I feel like this is somebody who knows what it's like to go without, even if they feel like they were raised with a silver spoon. Okay, I'm not getting too much about their origin story with this die. I'm mostly seeing that this is someone who feels like they need to really hold on to what they have. They may feel like what they've made for themselves when it comes to money is something that they don't want to share with everybody. This is probably why they prefer acts of service rather than gifts, because they believe in hard work and they believe in reaping the rewards of what you have and not necessarily sharing it with everybody. They also come across as an aggressive person when it comes to climbing the corporate ladder or even just claiming their success. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is someone who's really like an aggressive career where they have to like constantly put themselves out there and put their hand up for opportunities. They're not afraid to go for what they want, and they're used to working hard in order to be successful. There's something here about them being like quite, like I'm hearing steal and stolen. What is that about, Spirit? What is this person's personality like with steal and stolen? Yeah, they just come across as somebody that's really had to like create from nothing. And I think because of that, they are afraid to lose. So I wouldn't be surprised if a prenup, it might be on the table, you know, if this is a marriage situation. That's all I'm really getting with that. It's more about their physical, like their material world, their physical lifestyle, not so much their personality. Well, I guess their personality is that they're out here, they're ambitious, they're achieving. What else do we have over here? Vain and vanity. The thing is, if this is somebody looking in the mirror, look how small that mirror is, sweets. I don't think that this person, well, for some of you, they might be quite vain. They might be quite focused on like their image. But for all of you, I feel like this is mostly highlighting the fact that this person has to some degree care for what people think. Now, based on the other personality traits, they could be someone who's in the public eye for some reason. They could be someone that gets a lot of public recognition because they do care about their reputation. They do care about how people see them. And I don't think that they like that. I think that they want to be someone who doesn't, but they have to. So their job could require them to be put together and to be perceived in a type of way. I do feel like this is somebody that puts effort into their appearance, and while they like to be able to feel, or they hope to be able to feel comfortable enough to be able to not be so put together in front of you, their future spouse, I feel like for the majority of the population, they come across as very well polished and maybe even a bit vain, a bit image obsessed. But with that like face, it's like they don't want to be. We have another bounce here, bouncing back. This is somebody that may have gone through hardships, including bankruptcy, before. You meet them when they're bouncing back, when they feel like they're really reaping the rewards of the challenges that they've been through, some of the hardships that they've had to go through. And also, like, this is in relation to them not giving up, like really just pushing themselves through when things don't seem to go their way. They are somebody who reacts well under pressure and with stress. And they are coming across as somebody who, again, there's that sports energy of like a team player, a leader, someone who's got good motivation. Sports keeps coming back, so maybe this person plays sports professionally. But this is specifically giving me this energy of movement, someone that's constantly moving. Oh, it just changed. Yeah, look at that, more movement. They carry a lot. This is someone that has a lot of responsibilities on their shoulders. And they may not like that about themselves. They may say, like, I just want a life that's easy. I don't want to carry so much. But they keep saying yes. Very Capricornian, by the way, this energy. Interesting. Oh, it keeps changing. I know it's my nails, but I'm still just waiting to see if there's another message every time it changes. Friendship's really important. The people in their life come across as very well bonded to them. So they may have been people that they've known for years, or people that they feel a familial bond with. Whether they are family or not, there's this energy of that's my family, that's my like familiar. So very close friendships in this person's life. I'm hearing no new friends, no fake friends. So that's what I'm seeing with the dice. Let's get them up here and let's get some tarot out now. Can't see anything with this lighting. There we go. Okay. Spirit, what else can you tell us about this person's personality? How will my group 2s recognize their future spouse? How will my group 2s recognize their future spouse, Spirit? Okay. We have the 4 of Wands. How will my group 2s recognize their future spouse? We have the Queen of Wands. How will my group 2s recognize? We have Temperance, lots of fire. We have the Hanged Man. At the back of the deck is the King of Cups. This is a very well put together person. They could be very financially successful. I'm hearing they're a catch. They may be a little elusive and mysterious when it comes to their heart space when you guys first meet. There is an energy here of this person coming across as mysterious. But I think that overall, this is someone who is very physically attractive, not just to yourself, my viewer, but to a general public. Like, they may be the standard of beauty, or they could be somebody who a lot of people find attractive. This is someone who is very energetically magnetic to you. Without even trying, you feel drawn to this person. They are someone who you're going to be able to imagine a future with, but you're coming from a space of physical attraction and also like this desire to ground the attraction. So the way that you'll recognize this person is that although they come across as very much a magnet that draws you in because they have all of these qualities that you want, you guys may be actively manifesting your future spouse, and this person is just going to tick all of those boxes. But what really makes them stand out with this 4 of Wands is this overall objective to bring stability into this, is to recognize the potential and the qualities that you want and to really want to ground that with them. It's not a struggle. This person wants the same thing as you, and they want to pursue this with you. And so they are reactive and reciprocal. This person will want to ground things with you. That's what really stands out about them. When you give energy, they give energy back. When you say something, they return the same amount of energy back to you, whether it's through those initial communications, the talking stage, or whether it's through the early stages of dating and onwards. This is somebody who really steps up as someone who can balance out your energy. And we see that in all these other cards as well. Most of these cards are an energy of balance, except for really the Queen of Wands and the King of Cups. There could be some fire and water going on here. The main signs that I'm seeing are Sagittarius and Pisces. So Jupiter could be significant, or your Jupiter sign could be this person's sun sign. But other than that, we also have Scorpio, and we also have, I want to say Leo. Technically Aries and Cancer are here too, though, with that 4th house. Now, the thing is, the way that you'll recognize this person is that they do come across as a very emotionally mature person with the King of Cups. They are someone who knows how to communicate, and they know how to remain a little grounded in those early stages of dating. When the two of you are getting to know each other, you're going to immediately recognize how much maturity your future spouse has. They come across as someone with a lot of love and compassion and potentially just care, but they don't just sort of let all of that out at once. They know how to hint that they are this person while letting you see over time through their communication and their actions that they mean what they say. This is an emotionally mature person, and they'll be able to handle a lot of the uncertainties of those early stages of dating with maturity, with communication, and with a desire to build on what you have. This is someone who may come across as a little stoic, but they're just trying to ease this connection forward. I think with the King of Cups being here, we got to remember that sometimes these people even come across as people who have something to hide, but really they're just trying to slowly develop the intimacy from a place of maturity, which comes from a space of experience. And now we're seeing again hints that this person's experiences in the past are what made them passionate about seeking the truth when it comes to love and the truth when it comes to the people that they date. I don't think that maybe they don't trust easily, actually. Really, that's the crux of this kind of energy, is that how can you be this way if you trust someone? Well, I don't think that they do fully trust the people that they dated in the past. And you may see that in the early stages as well. This is someone who's learned how to get to know people from a space of protecting themselves primarily. Now with Temperance here, this is someone that really balances out your energy while also sharing your excitement in the early stages. I can see with Temperance that this is someone who feels very refreshing to you. They feel very healing. They also feel like they bring a sense of passion into your life without throwing you off balance. They feel like someone that complements you, your personality, and what you're looking for when it comes to love. There is a strong feeling of this just kind of happening and feeling right from the start. You and this person clicking, and it just feeling very natural from the start. From your perspective, the chemistry is very strong, my viewer. You guys are going to be very physically drawn to this person and attracted to this person. And Temperance just highlights the fact that this is someone you're not willing to give up on in those early stages. You're really actively pursuing them. because you feel like you've manifested them as well. And this is a reactive, responsive person. So they're not just going to leave you hanging. But speaking of hanging, let's address this Hanged Man, shall we? So this is a very spiritual card. This is a card that can indicate us gaining a new perspective on a situation that we felt stuck in. And I think that that's how your frame of mind will be at the time that you meet this person. You may have felt like your love life was very stuck for quite some time, as though you were really trying and things just weren't moving forward. There's something about this person that feels so refreshing to you, very different, different to what you've dealt with before, and also different in how they treat you, in how they pursue you, and in how they show interest in you. And it's a good feeling. It's a good different. It's a good refreshing. It helps you feel a level of peace, but there's also a sense of enlightenment here and clarity, as though everything else that you had to go through is making sense now because of this moment. I want to say that at its core, for this group, the way that you'll recognize your future spouse is basically the fact that you have this feeling, you have this intuitive knowing within your spirit that this is your future spouse. So let's have a look at physical attributes now. Spirit, what signs do my group 2 viewers need to look out for in order to recognize their future spouse? What signs do my group 2 viewers? Okay, we have Uranus coming out first. What signs do my group 2 viewers need to look out for? We have Juno, soulmate energy. What signs? Okay. And we have Neptune. At the back of the deck is Eros. So this is why I love doing future spouse readings, because they always come through with some wholesome ass energy. So with Eros at the back of the deck, we're seeing an energy here of infatuation from the beginning. This is someone you will have a crush on, group 2, okay? They don't just kind of surprise you when you turn around and you go, oh my God, it was you all along. Like, no, you've had a crush on this person since you've known them. Symbols with Eros that you may need to look out for include arrows, swans, doves, blindfolds, candles, and hearts. Oh, okay, we're getting a little passionate with it. So the thing about this energy is, a key word that really stands out for me is the blending of energy. That's what we see with Temperance, the blending of energy. You and this person's energy just blends well. Even if you don't necessarily like the same things, like, you just so easily fit together. It works really well. It's very compatible, for lack of a better word. Okay. I'm so tempted to read more. Eros in a reading indicates our subconscious desires about what we are looking for in a mate. So this may be someone that you both consciously and subconsciously are attracting. They may possess attributes that you know you want, but they may also, on a subconscious level, possess attributes that you've been seeking. They may not be very similar to what you've recently looked for in love, but they seem to be exactly what you need based off of how you've learned the way that you love and the way that you receive love. Let's have a look at Uranus now. Uranus is the rebel, so this person may be a bit of a free spirit, a little bit unconventional. Maybe they do things a little differently to the norms in your society. This energy is technically linked to the sign Aquarius, and they could be a Sun Aquarius or maybe a Venus Aquarius in how they present themselves. They could also just be somebody who has air in the right places, which is why communication with you is really good in the beginning especially. Symbols associated with this card are the blue apatite crystal, the sky, electricity, storms, lightning, and metal. This is also a card that's linked to the 11th house, so the number 11 could be significant. It also makes me think of the number 7. In terms of physical attributes, Uranus makes me think that there's something about this person's, the way that they present themselves, that could be a little bit quirky, a little bit different. They may not wear clothes that necessarily are trendy, but they may also be a bit of a trend setter, right? They may not dress like everybody in your city or your town, and they may be someone who is quite open with their ideas and the way that they view the world. Open-minded, very dynamic way of doing things, which is why these energies come across as free spirits and rebels. Juno is ultimately my soulmate card, especially in this deck. It's an asteroid that's heavily connected to the idea of a soulmate. And I just want to see what I'm missing in terms of symbols. So you and this person may be very possessive of one another. This person's attributes has them being someone that values loyalty and cooperation as well as commitment. Trust is coming through again with this card. I'm seeing jewelry be very important to this person. This person may prefer to wear silver with this Neptune and Uranus energy, and they may like to wear lots of jewelry, like lots of rings or lots of necklaces, lots of earrings, lots of wrist, bracelets and watches and that kind of stuff. I think that they like to layer more than anything. In terms of symbols, we're seeing peacocks, cows, crowns, lilies, and pomegranates with this Juno energy. What else do they need to know about Juno spirit? What other physical attributes does Juno bring to the table? A warmth. There's something about this person's energy that's very warm, and they may be drawn to warm colors despite that silver influence. But if they're a true rebel, they won't care. They won't care if they're an autumn or a summer. They're just going to wear what they feel like wearing. There's a warmth in their energy, though. They could have darker eyes. Yeah. Is there anything else physically with this card spirit that we can say? There's an interesting gradient here of like lighter in the middle and darker in the outside. That could be a reflection of their irises, more than one color. Let's have a look at Neptune now. Okay. Now, similar to Uranus, Neptune is also connected to a sign and a house. So we're seeing Pisces again with Neptune, and we're also being connected to the 12th house. So the number 12 could be significant. Outside of that, the symbols associated with this card in this deck are trident, seashells, water lilies, boats, and dolphins. This energy does make me think that this person physically has some sort of connection to the ocean or to a body of water. They may be someone who's very drawn towards water activities, whether that's swimming, rowing, diving, what else do they do? Boating, skiing. That's the thing, actually. For some of y'all, this person's from a cold place. For others of you with all the fire here, they're from a warm place. Okay, well, let's not do that then. That's confusing. That just covers all the places, warm and cold. But yeah, with the skiing and the silver, that just brought through all this imagery of snow and like dark sort of places where winter is really like shorter days. We don't really have that where I am. And then the warmth is more with the ocean and the swimming, because you wouldn't usually, well, that's excluding most of Scandinavia, but like you wouldn't usually swim in colder places. So that's why I feel like it's a warmer place. Or maybe they like to take vacations in their opposite, which is probably most of the world. Now I just feel like I'm contradicting myself. What else can you tell us about physical attributes, Spirit, with this person? The thing about Neptune is it does talk about addictive behaviors and habits. So this person may have an addictive personality. They could be somebody that picks up habits quite quickly, and they may have some habits that are considered a bit self-destructive as well. With their personality type, they're probably very self-aware. So whatever it is that they feel addicted to, they know what they're doing, and they are probably very much, capable of breaking that cycle, or just switching, replacing one addiction for another is what it feels like. I don't think that it's harmful because of their level of self-awareness, but I do think that it's something that will help you identify them. What else can you tell us, Spirit? There's a part of this energy that feels very nostalgic. This person may like to wear clothes that are from a different time or era, or they may be drawn to music that is from a different time and era. And it might come through physically in how they carry themselves, how they talk. There's something very nostalgic about their personality as well, and the way that they present. This card does talk about mental health as well, and struggles with mental health. In terms of how that manifests physically, I feel like this person could come across as more of a realist and at times a pessimist. But I think you bring out a very youthful and happy side to them. You see the best of this person first. And then as you get to know them, you uncover what they've been through and why they think the way that they think. They may say things that surprise you because you assume that they're a very positive and happy person, but they're just motivated and they know how to check themselves mentally. They got there because they've been through some things. This is someone who does have, it's not baggage, but it's like experiences from their past that come across as quite dark. So that's what I'm seeing in terms of how you will recognize them. They could also be wearing a lot of blue when you first meet them, or blue could be a significant color. Okay, so that is who they are and how you'll recognize them. Let's have a look at when now. Spirit, do you have a time frame for my viewers? We're going to use this deck again, actually, not to be boring, but it is a nice deck. For my group 2 viewers, how and when will they meet their future spouse, Spirit? How and when? We have Eros. We have Vesta. And we have the 10th house with the 8th house. So I feel like you're going to meet this person when you're looking for a serious connection. There is a strong emphasis here on grounding and wanting something meaningful. The thing is, some of y'all may be still messily tidying up something and may be still trying to process your past when this person comes in. I feel like with the Eros card, they're going to catch your eye immediately, and you're actively looking for love when you meet this person. They don't just sort of fall into your lap. You are actively seeking love. So that makes me think that you're actively on either dating apps, or you're actively going out, you're actively mingling, putting yourself out there, and actively trying to find the right person. With Vesta there, that is a connection to your home. So you're in a comfort zone. You're feeling safe. You're feeling supported at the time that you meet this person. You're able to meet them while you're doing something that you enjoy doing. Now, if you're not in your home swiping on people, then you're physically doing something that feels very comforting to you. You're doing something that feels very healthy for you. And you're doing something that you know is going to, on one hand, connect you with people who have similar interests, similar goals, similar values. But you're also doing something that feels healthy for you and your love journey. So I'm getting like an interesting message here as an example of maybe previously when you were looking for love, all you did was, you know, download Tinder and swipe, and that made you more drawn to superficial connections instead of meaningful connections. So maybe this time around you go to a singles meetup at your local bar and you decide, you know, you're just going to take your time to get to know people and to physically invest in those people. And it just so happens to be in an environment that you're comfortable in because you've been to that bar heaps of times, and it feels very natural for you, but it also feels like it's a healthier alternative to what you've been trying to do. Aside from that, I do see with the 10th house being here reversed that there's an overall energy of what I want to say is commitment change. You guys is changing up the way that you invest and the way that you do things to try to accommodate for a change in outcome. Now, the way that this is coming across is that you could be getting out of one thing and into another, okay? There could also be a change in career if it's not relationship, if you're somebody who's been single for a long time. But it overall just feels like you're changing the way that you feed your habits and the way that you're planning your future. So you're changing your habits to reflect this change in your future. In terms of a timeline, honestly, you guys may be single or may have had a hard run of events in love for quite some time. Like, I'm talking years. This is a relationship that comes in after it feels like you've had another commitment, either another marriage or just like another connection that you really thought was going to be long term. And you had to take time out to heal, but to also process the amount of emotional baggage that you've had. It could be that temporary connections are more fulfilling while you sort out this emotional stuff. But the other reason we have the 8th house here is not just about healing, it's about change and transformation. So it could be that this connection comes in at a time where you're very focused on connections that don't shadow previous connections, if that makes sense. When you feel like you're breaking a cycle and you feel like you're switching things up and you feel like you're doing things differently so that your next person doesn't reflect your past person. So that's why I think this person is very different to who you've been seeing, and that's why I think they feel very refreshing for you as well. In terms of other physical locations, I mean, love seems to be the main theme that draws the two of you together. You're both seeking a relationship. You might meet this person in a very public way. The 10th house does make me think of public image as well, and reputation, your status. You may actually find this person in a very public place, especially if they are a very public person with like a big public image. So it could be that like you see their name on a billboard or something, you see their name on a sign, and that's what really draws you into them. It could also be that you like find their number on a post that they've put up, or you find their contact details on a post that they've put up. What other physical ways might group 2 meet this person, Spirit, with 8th house? See, 8th house is interesting because it kind of puts a spin. Where the 8th house is usually about like mystery and potentially coming in with a lot of intensity, this could be a slow burn. It could be something that can't move as quickly as you want it to in those early stages. Not to say that it's drawn out for a very long time, but instead of burning as brightly and intensely as you want it to, there may be a certain issue in the beginning that forces you to slow down and just sort of take it a bit slower than what you want to. Instead of rushing into it, it's like, well, no, slow down. Wait a minute. What about this? What about that? Have you thought about this? Children could be a reason. Career could be a reason. Reputation could be a reason. But also this shift in routine could be a reason. And let's be honest, like this person doesn't trust easily. So that could be the main reason with the 8th house reversed. They just want to take time getting to know you first. Are there any other physical? Okay, so in terms of other symbols, the colors green and blue, that deep blue, are still coming out. There is a strong intensity here in the attraction initially. So I do think that you're going to be looking at each other through rose-colored glasses. And I do think that love hearts are a very important symbol because it just keeps coming back. It keeps coming back. So that's what I'm seeing with the how. I'm going to see if there's anything else you need to know about how to attract this person into your life. Is there anything else my group 2 viewers need to know about how they can attract this person into their life, Spirit? We have red jasper reversed and amber. So this is just a quick read because I want to do a first impressions read too before we go into the extended reading. Look at all this fire, you guys. How can you attract this person into your life? Keep putting yourself out there. Work on your self-confidence. Work on your self-image. If people aren't pursuing you, you know, that's a clear sign that it's not the right person. The right person is going to be reactive and responsive to your interest. Don't hold on to people that are wasting your time and your energy, and don't get too distracted by temporary connections. There are people who are temporarily attractive because they are available, but they don't possess the qualities that you're seeking. Short-term connections, sneaky links, situationships, flings, people that waste your time, your energy. They don't reflect the longevity that you're seeking. With Amber being here in the reverse position, we really need to focus on our self-confidence, how we see ourselves, how we put ourselves out there, believing that we're worthy of what we desire and believing that we deserve what we want as well. And having the confidence to see this person with fresh eyes and to follow through with the actions we said we were going to do when we meet them. That's really the main message that's coming through. Let's have a look at your first impressions of each other. I am going to use this deck again because it's very insightful when we look at impressions. Spirit, what are my viewers' first impressions of their future spouse? What are my viewers' first impressions? Okay, the card that I have for you is Black Tourmaline, of course. You can see them as somebody who's wounded, who's been through things, who doesn't trust easily. You also see them as someone who is very much a fresh breath of air. Spirit, what are their future spouses' first impressions of them? First impressions of you, a red jasper. You're very keen. You come across as very interested. They can tell from the beginning. But they like that about you. They like that you are interested, that you're clear. This person is going to be drawn to you because of the fact that you don't play games. They like that you know what you want with them. They like that you're attracted to them. It's very attractive to them that you are so direct and clear. They also value the attention you give them because it's not just about validation, it's about focus. They feel like you're very focused on them. In a world where we date multiple people at once, they feel like they have your sole attention and they really like that. Their impression of you in the beginning is that you have a lot of like energy that seems to be restless. Red jasper as a first impression in the reverse position is like an intensity, but it's also a passion, and it may feel like you don't really have a clear way of like pinpointing all of that and focusing that. Instead of tunnel vision, this person sees you as someone who just has a lot to offer. You have a lot of energy. You have a lot of passion. I believe that this person will be very attracted to you, but there's also an energy of confusion and feeling like you have potential but not really knowing. It's like this person doesn't get to see the full scope of you immediately, but they like what they do see and they feel very drawn to what they do see. Their first impression of you is that you're different, but it seems to be good. You might be the change that they've been looking for, but they're not sure when they first meet you. This person may do something to kind of test you, to see not only how interested you are, but how honest you're being, and to see whether you're actually going to continue this level of interest and pursuit. They may feel like, yes, like we really hit it off, but are they going to be consistent? And that's why your first impression of them is that they don't trust easily. They're someone who's protecting themselves with black tourmaline. They also come across as someone who is very intuitive. And we're seeing signs of emotional depth and emotional maturity here as well. But you see them as someone that's very grounded, and they have a stoic side, a serious side that really intrigues you, like a puzzle box or a mystery that you need to solve. They come across as somebody very healthy as well. Someone who may be, I don't want to say health obsessed, but looking after themselves seems to be a priority. I'm hearing work hard, play hard though, so whatever healthy image you have of them, you also are under the impression that they know how to blow off steam as well. And you may even learn very quickly that they have vices, but they know how to balance themselves back and get back into a balanced state. They come across as somebody who is really focused on looking after themselves and maybe even getting to a more grounded, baggage-free place. Like, I'm really getting a sense of like someone that's trying to turn a new leaf. You may assume that they're very fresh to the market as well, that they haven't been single for very long, and that you need to quickly get in there before somebody else steals them. That's what you seem to assume. On their end, the assumptions that they make is that there's no way you can continue to be this interested in them. There's no way that you can continue to be this sort of presence in their life. They really value the energy you bring in. You have an energy that's very warm to this person, but you also have an energy that's very, like, they start to warm up to you quite quickly. I'm seeing them being very tentative to talk about their feelings in the early stages of you getting to know each other. They may speak of their feelings very logically, trying to create distance towards an attachment in the early stages, but you'll know through their effort and their actions that they have a fondness for you. And they feel very drawn to the way that you express yourself. You come across as someone that's very expressive, and you may communicate your feelings more freely than they do. They do like that about you, don't get me wrong. They really like that. I just feel like they don't always reciprocate that energy in the beginning. And that's your first impressions of each other. Spirit, to close my Group 2's readings, can we please get some words of encouragement on how they can meet this person? Some words of encouragement. Actually, let's have a look at we already kind of looked at what you can do. So let's have a look at the influence that they'll have on you. What kind of influence will their future spouse have on them for my Group 2s, please, Spirit? What kind of influence? Okay, we got 2 cards. Now, after this, I'm going to go into your extended reading, Group 2s. So if this message has resonated and if it feels like it is meant for you. And if you want to continue this reading and you want those additional messages, click on the link in the description box or the pinned comment to access your extended reading, where we will have a look at why and how you will choose to be together, exploring more of what your connection to each other is going to look like. In that extended reading, we're basically going to deep dive into your dynamics and what wins this person over for you, what wins you over for them, vice versa. So the link to the extended readings is in the description box and the pinned comment. Please make sure you click on the right group. Remember your group 2 of my Who is Your Future Spouse reading that I posted in 2024, August. So in terms of their influence on you, with the 8 of Swords and the 3 of Wands reversed here, in this deck we're seeing the words helpless and hopeless and take the lead. I think that this is someone that encourages and supports you without micromanaging, and I do feel like they're very patient with you. I do feel like they are very respectful of you, and I feel like they do this by giving you space to sort whatever you need to sort out. Whether it's a physical thing that you're going through, a mental thing that you're going through, or it could be a responsibilities thing. This is someone who will give you space. They won't hover. They won't, what's the word, like smother. But when you want them there, they will be there. There's something about this person's energy that feels consistent and reliable. And in those moments where you feel helpless and hopeless, I feel like this person is like your ray of sunshine without meaning to be. They're a symbol of warmth in your life. And I think this is because of how they come into your life. A lot of you guys have given up on being able to find that person. And so when this person comes in, from the beginning and throughout the connection, they feel like someone who is your sense of hope. And the way that they do that is by strengthening the beliefs that you have within yourself, which is what we saw with your oracle cards that were talking about building on your self-confidence, staying true to what you know you deserve, and bouncing back from rejection. Because whatever is meant for you cannot miss you. This person comes across as a very well-spoken and wise person, and their influence is very good in balancing out some of the thoughts that you have, some of the intrusive thoughts, but I also think that your conversations with each other are very enlightening and liberating. They don't come across as somebody who fixes your problems, but they come across as somebody that plants seeds in your mind. Someone who isn't afraid to think outside the box with you and maybe open your eyes up to a whole new world and a whole new way of doing things. Now, they also come across as someone who has a balance of optimism and realism. This is someone whose experiences are very insightful for you. Their experiences come across as something that inspires you. And who they are as a person naturally influences you to want to be more like them, to embody their mentality sometimes, and to also embody their passion, their zeal, their drive. This person's influence is vicariously encouraging you to step up more and to step outside of the things that have held you back, metaphorically. This person gets you back into a state of flow and out of a state of stagnancy. So that is what I'm seeing for you, my group 2s. I'm going to end your reading here. I hope it has been a helpful, insightful reading for you. It's been such a pleasure to be your reader today. Thank you for trusting me as your reader and for choosing me as the person that you're giving your attention to at this stage. I appreciate this energy exchange, and I am thanking you for all of your support, your time, and your energy. Until our paths cross again, I wish you peace, prosperity, abundance, happiness, health, wealth, success, and joy on your journey ahead. If you're joining me in the extended readings, click on those links below and I will see you there. If this is where we're parting ways, bye for now. Group 3s, and welcome to your reading. If you recognize this childhood card or the crystal in my hands, then this is going to be your reading today. We're asking Spirit, who is your future spouse? And there is going to be an extended reading as well, but I will talk about that more at the end. We have to start here in order to get there. So let me put your crystal down, sweet souls. I'm going to put it right there. I know that's not technically centered, but it kind of looks centered to me from my perspective. So, we'll see how we go. Now, sweets, this card is already telling us about your future spouse. If you were a part of the intro, you will have seen me shuffle it out. We're asking Spirit, who is your future spouse? How are you going to meet them? What are your first impressions going to be? All of that fun stuff. So starting with this childhood card, I can see that your future spouse is someone that you may have known from your childhood. There could be a connection to childhood in that maybe you grew up in a similar place, maybe you grew up with similar interests, you share a similar childhood memories. There is also this feeling of you and this person's inner child being very connected. So you bring out a youthful, playful version of each other. I think that you may be close in age because of this card to come out. You could be a part of the same, generation, in that like you are both like Gen Z or millennials or Gen X or boomers, whatever that is, whatever it is for you, because there are a lot of like cultural similarities based on your childhood, and not just cultural in terms of ethnicity, but cultural in terms of pop culture, in terms of music, in terms of movies, in terms of art, in terms of parenting styles. And it feels like the two of you have this familiarity to each other based on your past and your upbringing. The other reason why we have this childhood card here is because of your compatibility at your core values. Your future spouse is someone who you will feel a closeness to from the beginning, a warmth to from the beginning. There is a strong feeling of you both having a very close connection and almost being able to share the same feelings from the beginning. So it does feel like you and this person will be on the same page from those early, often awkward stages of the connection. Now, with these tacks down here, I'm getting the impression that your future spouse is somebody who is very protective of you. It feels like your connection is one that feels protective against other odds. So it could almost feel like you and this person have to be careful about who you allow into your lives once this connection develops. There may be certain things that you're having to distance yourself from, and we'll see what comes out with tarot and the oracle cards. But I'm almost getting this impression of you both having to lift each other up and raise each other up in order to be safe from the impact of other people's tackiness. Now, I feel like you and this person will really be nesting and will be in your own little bubble for quite some time during this connection. It's not just the early stages. This is a connection that is likely to turn into marriage. And there's that honeymoon phase of which you would get to experience once the connection moves into that new stage. I think this is somebody that celebrates milestones. This is somebody that celebrates anniversaries. I'm getting a very romantic energy from them. And they also feel like somebody who makes a big deal out of you and your love for each other. They're somebody that feels proud of you and proud to be with you. And they're also somebody who feels very proud of the connection that you create together, whether that includes having children together or not. I believe that your future spouse has a very soft spot, and you may be someone that really draws this out of them. But I think that they also have a protective sort of circle of family members who also get to see this side of them and feel very proud of the connection that the two of you share. I'm getting someone that's rough around the outside, but really warm and cozy on the inside. So that could be your first impression of them. We'll see what else comes out with the oracle cards. Is there anything else with this card, Spirit, that you can tell us about Group 3's future spouse? Really nice hugs. This person may like to hug you from behind, but there's a warmth there. It's very like safe. This person feels very safe and refreshing. So let me start with the dice to see what else we can gather about their attributes. Spirit, what can you tell us about my Group 3's future spouse? Okay, I think that's it. Just 3, that's interesting. Very funny person, apparently. Humor is their main trait. They could just be a very optimistic person. All these people are smiling. Very optimistic. Let me move you in. That's very close. Okay. Maybe you don't need to be that close. Let's start with this one. So this dice has come out for another group as well. So if this doesn't resonate 100%, you may have messages across 2 groups. I do recommend that if you do that, you're actively taking notes and cross-referencing to make sure that you're not just over-consuming information, and compiling a clear list of what resonates and what aligns with the manifestations that you've set for yourself when it comes to a future spouse. The qualities that you're looking out for, as well as the ones that you enjoy learning about. And if there's any information you feel uncertain of, make a little note of it so that you can refer back to it when the time comes. These readings often resonate more as time progresses. So with this, I want to say, die being here, I think that there is a strong impression of this person being very uplifting, very positive, very ambitious. They may be someone who really wants to do things with you, who really wants to see a sort of an upwards positive trend, and they believe that this connection was made to have a positive impact on the 2 of you. This is typically interpreted as my kicking goals dice. So when this shows up, it tells me that your future spouse is someone who is ambitious and has goals, not necessarily just dreams, but actual goals that they want to achieve. This also tells me that they are a go-getter. They're reactive. If something needs to be done, they do it. They're likely the type of person that doesn't like to delay things. They like to feel like they are reliable, dependable, and they like to be seen highly. So they want you to see them as someone that does the things that they say they're going to do. They don't want to be seen as lazy. They don't want to be seen as incompetent, as somebody who just, promises things and never sees it through. And they also want to be seen as someone who is moving forward in life and who isn't stuck in the past. Now, with this beautiful die, I do think that children could be a factor. This person may be a very good parent, and one of their attributes could be that they look after people very well, whether that's their own children, it could be younger siblings, it could be, nephews, nieces. They come across as a very caring and considerate person, and this is especially displayed in their interactions with kids. Now, if they aren't a parent or they don't have, nephews, nieces, or younger siblings, this is a very caring and kind person. They're very considerate, they're very empathetic, and they have this beautiful way of making you feel very special and very taken care of. I think that this is a nurturer, And this is someone who likes to lift their loved ones up. They like to make sure that you feel supported, you feel seen, you feel heard. And a very active presence when it comes to the relationships and the people that they care about. So I do think that this person's a generally very kind and caring soul. There is that connection to childhood again with this die as well. Now, my last die that chose to come out for you is showing somebody giving a gift. And this is a love language, technically. This is telling me that this person's love language could be acts of service, gift giving, and affection, or words of affirmation. You know what? There's a lot of love languages there. So maybe this person is just very affectionate and they have a very diverse way of showing their affection towards you. This is specifically saying that this person is also attentive. They notice what you need, whether it's a physical thing or a attention-based thing, and they pay attention to how they can fulfill that need by either buying what you need or by physically fulfilling that need. Now, the thing about this die is it shows effort. It shows value, and it also shows the fact that they're paying attention to what you say. So I believe that, to put it simply, this person is very clearly going to show you through their actions that they are interested in you, that they care about you, and that they want this connection to be successful. And that's probably why we only got 3 die for you. Technically, there were 9 in total. So that is what I'm seeing with their attributes when associated with the story dice. Let's get some oracle cards out now to see how you're going to recognize this person. Spirit, how will my group 3s know who this person is? How will my group 3s be able to recognize this person? How will my group 3s be able to recognize this person? Okay, the first card I have coming out for you is the 8th house. Scorpio could be a significant sign. Should have figured that with childhood. That's also Cancer and Scorpio energy. We have Lilith coming out. How will my group 3s recognize their future spouse, Spirit? We have the 2nd house coming out reversed. And at the back of the deck is Capricorn. Is that even? No, it's not there. That's a little bit better. Okay, so we've got Taurus, we've got Scorpio, we've got Lilith, and we've got Capricorn. So a lot of fixed energy and a little bit of cardinal energy. Lilith is drawing me in as the card that I need to speak about first. This tells me that their personality may be something that is very intense, and they may be trying to not come across as intense when you first meet. I think with Lilith here, this may be someone who is very open-minded and accepting towards other people, but they may have the tendency to really beat themselves up. They may try to hide aspects of themselves that they feel they should be ashamed of. And they may be under the impression that they have aspects of themselves or their personality that makes them difficult to love. This person has woundings around being able to accept themselves wholeheartedly, and it manifests as them coming across as very humble, as someone very reserved at times, and as someone who is often holding back. And this is how you will recognize who they are as a person, because instead of feeling confident in the duality of their personality like anyone else, or in the multifaceted aspect of their personality like anyone else, they are going to feel a little bit embarrassed and ashamed about things that are quite normal, quite natural. It could be simple things like them snoring, or it could be other things like them struggling with their skin and feeling like their skin is not as clear or as perfect as somebody else's. It could be something like them not being able to grow hair in certain places that they want to. It's like they shouldn't feel embarrassed about these things because it is completely natural, but they do, and they take it personally, and they see it as something that they almost feel shame for. Outside of that, this is a very hard-working person. They come across as somebody who is very much a physical provider. They may have a good career. They may also be someone who, you know, when it comes to putting your head down and working hard, they've proven time and time again that they can do that. They're also someone who comes across as a long-term envisioner, which kind of tells me that this person is going to be seeking something serious when you meet them. They're going to be looking for a serious commitment with Capricorn here, thinking about their future, thinking about how they want to build, and thinking about all the little steps that go into creating long-term success. And this is an energy that they apply to multiple aspects of their life, not just relationships. They are very thoughtful, they're very patient, and they think ahead. Capricorn is also telling me that they have this mentality of restriction at times, while also playing kind of devil's advocate and wanting to be impulsive. Is this interesting duality within this person of acknowledging how patience is a virtue and good things come to those who wait, which are things that they may even preach. But with the second house reversed over here, this is someone whose routine is easily disrupted when they feel a certain passion or impulse to do something. And it could be that, you know, this is someone who has lived alone for quite some time, and then you coming into their life and into their home really kind of messes with the routine that they've had. It almost feels like this is someone that's easily distractive, and their day-to-day routine is easily changeable depending on their impulses. And that's where they're able to be more sort of long-term focused. It's kind of giving me an analogy of like someone who's good at long distance running instead of sprints. You know, this is someone who may not do well in the 100 meters, but you give them a cross-country course and they can, you know, place on the placeholders. So it just kind of feels like there are times when this person loses a little bit of structure in their day-to-day routine, and that could be why they're also coming across as a creature of habit. I'm hearing if it isn't broke, why fix it? This may be someone who's prone to having sort of creature comforts that aren't exactly healthy, but they just get kind of stuck in that cycle of doing things, which is very fixed signs. People with fixed signs in their moon can be like this. People with fixed signs in their rising and sun can be like this, but it just feels like with the second house reversed, this is someone who needs like to kind of spice things up every now and then, or they feel like they're getting stuck and stagnant. They feel like they're just falling into repetition and they're not necessarily growing the way that they want to, which is why we also have the 8th house here. Any sign of the 8th house is a sign of transformative change. And it does feel like with that being right next to the 2nd house, this person's habits ultimately change when they desire positive change. They're not trying to be impulsive to be self-destructive. They're trying to be impulsive to offer themselves growth, to offer themselves opportunity. This is someone who isn't afraid to switch things up if it means maximizing potential. So with that being said, they may have been through things that anyone else would kind of go, ugh, where to from here? They've learned to have a very sunny disposition when faced with adversity or challenges, because not only is the challenge temporary, but the outcome could be positive. So instead of seeing it as a lesson, they see it as an opportunity. The 8th house is really interesting in this person's energy. It doesn't feel frightening or fearful. And often the 8th house in anyone's energy could feel like something almost ominous, like mysterious, and like, oh, what is going to come out of this mess, this chaos, this shift? Whereas this person welcomes it. They may even instigate change if they feel like things have gotten a bit too boring. They may be someone who for years and years and years has a regular routine where they get up, do the same thing, and till their head hits the pillow. And they do that for years and years and years until they're able to turn around and go, well, that didn't do anything. Me doing the same thing every day did not offer me the growth that I want to. And then overnight, they decide we're going to do things differently. So I do feel like with the 8th house here, they're not afraid to instigate change. Outside of this theme of change, I'm also seeing the 8th house as self-awareness. This person's emotional maturity seems to be quite adaptable. They're very open to feeling, but also to gaining more awareness about how others feel and about how what they do impacts the ones that they love. This is not someone who shies away from difficult feelings and heavy feelings, and they may almost take it personally when someone that they care about feels some type of way, because they would hope that they're always on the same page and trying to make sure that connections in their life are positive and mutually fulfilling. So I think that this person would take breakups really hard. If you've ever talked, once you kind of communicate with them about previous relationships in their life, I feel like they would take that really hard and personally, as though they've personally failed to keep their significant other happy. And if they haven't had significant breakups, then it's other close relationships in their life, friendships ending, maybe some issues with parental figures. They take all of that really personally. Outside of that, I am seeing some shadow attributes of the occasional bout of laziness due to not being able to stay on top of responsibilities and routine. This person's downtime is truly their time to unwind, and they like to do so in a very creature comforts way, just sort of vegging out on the TV, not having to worry about what they look like and what they're eating. When they get time to themselves, they are being a couch potato and just indulging in whatever foods they crave at that time. Other shadow attributes I'm seeing is a strong sense of perfectionism. They may never be truly satisfied with their life in some capacity. They are really hard on themselves about what they're achieving, and it could be because they're a parent, or it could just be because they have very high expectations of themselves. And that is similar to that Lilith energy reversed as a shadow attribute. Lilith is someone who, Lilith reversed is a tendency to shame ourselves and feel guilty about the things that we shouldn't have to, because it's natural. This could come from a societal expectation. This person may feel as though, these things like we were talking about before, body hair and that sort of stuff, like sleeping habits, are unattractive, but it's really out of their control and completely natural. I don't think it goes as deep as being self-esteem issues, but it's enough to make them hesitate in feeling ultimately attractive in your eyes. What else, Spirit? I think that's all. We're going to look at signs and symbols now associated with these cards, which are things that you may need to look out for, as they could be clues as to who this person is. So with the 8th house, this is the realm of reincarnation. We know that we have Scorpio in that energy. Pluto is also associated with the 8th house. It is the element of water, and its house type is emotional. I'm seeing tattoos with this card. I'm also seeing someone who may be responsible for other people's finances or assets in some way. They may look after siblings or a parent's assets, which includes vehicles, houses, and someone who is often needing time to self-reflect and retreat into their comfort zone. More of an introvert than an extrovert, I would say. Okay, let's have a look at that second house. This is the realm of values. We know that that house is associated with Taurus as well. Its planet ruler is Venus. Its element is Earth. And it is a working house type. So obviously finances are pretty big. Routine is big. Indulgence is big. Materialisticness is big. With that card reversed, this person has two sides to them. They may spend money on very specific things, but I wouldn't say that they're materialistic. I feel like this person is pretty laid back, and I would actually describe them as someone who's more casual. This is an energy of one size fits all, so I think that their personality is pretty easygoing, and I think that a lot of people in your life will be able to get along with this person. Is there anything else in terms of symbols? Yeah, this person does not always feel, they may have certain spending habits that means that they never quite feel financially secure, and so they're always having to work hard, which is why we have Capricorn here too. Let's talk about Capricorn and then we'll jump back to Lilith. Okay, so we know that the Capricorn is the goat. Significant dates could be December 21st to January 20th. This is a cardinal sign. The number 10 could also be significant because it's associated to the 10th with the 10th house. Key symbols are black stones and minerals, wood and fresh paper. Other things that I'm seeing is, yeah, this person likes planning. They like to plan. They like to slow and steady, taking careful steps. Yes, Capricorn's underlying drive comes from a place of insecurity. Shows where we felt inadequate as a child. Not being afraid to change up their routine or assign certain tasks to specific days. They may have specific rituals that they do, like every Tuesday they wash their car, or Wednesday is washing day for their clothes, you know, or on a Friday, like I just come home and order food in and watch TV, that type of energy. Going to the pub on a Wednesday, like whatever it is, it's like this person has specific rituals and routines. Let's have a look at Lilith now. So Lilith is the shadow asteroid. Key symbols are owls, crescent moons, snakes, wands, and cats. It can be an energy of pettiness as well. This person may be prone to holding petty grudges, not because they genuinely struggle to move forward, but just because when you rub them the wrong way, they take that and hold that against you. So I feel like this person does it for the sake of the other person's reaction. They may be someone who, I don't think it's spiteful. What's the word when someone's like, they don't forgive and forget. They may forgive, but they don't forget. Yeah, Lilith is wild, animalistic, vengeful, petty, erotic, and mysterious. She is power. But the thing is, with this energy reversed, this person may have an energy of like, yeah, they don't embrace themselves. They oppress themselves. They don't truly appreciate their shadows and their power. They have the tendency to repress and oppress themselves, not others. So it's really repression when it's self. It's interesting. Are there any other symbols, Spirit? So I'm seeing a lot of dark colors. This person may wear dark colors, or they could have dark features. Green is significant too. but the darkness is what's standing out the most. Can we get any other attributes about this person physically, Spirit? Let's use this deck. Any physical attributes of who Group 3's future spouse is, Spirit? Any physical attributes of who? Okay, we have wisdom. They could be balding, or they could have grey or silver hair. I think you're gonna like this person's profile from the back. You could also have a dog when you meet them. It could be someone that's always, you know, out and about with one specific type of accessory. In this card, it's a book, but it could be something else, like a shoe or some sort of headwear. A bag that they always bring with them. Is there any other physical attributes of how my viewer will recognize their future spouse? That's interesting. They mirror something back to you. You guys have similar features, is what Spirit's indicating with that card. You may even look very similar. Yeah, there's something about this person that's really warm and bright. Even if they dress in dark clothes, their energy is so warm and bright. I feel like this person is older than you. Even if you are close in age, they're older than you. And I feel like this person has very attractive features that are similar to yours. It's like the opposite version of you in a way, if that makes sense, especially if you're attracted to the opposite gender. But if you're attracted to the same gender or the same sex, however we use these terms, without being exclusive, I aim to be inclusive. It's like they mirror those qualities back to you with their personal twist on it. Now, there is something here about this person wearing a lot of jewelry if they're more feminine. They may enjoy wearing rings, bracelets, necklaces, earrings. It's like this woman headwear. If they're masculine, they probably don't do any of that. She's very naked when it comes to jewelry. They may have a specific hairstyle that they enjoy wearing their hair in, and they may wear that same hairstyle for years and years and years and then decide to change it randomly. Their physical style is a reflection of practicality and comfort. They rarely dress up, and if they do, it's not because they're too worried about coming across as someone who has money. They may do it just so that they make a positive impression on you and your loved ones, or for the occasion. Is there anything else you can tell us about their physical appearance? They're a very hard worker, and you're going to see that in their hands as well. Whatever they do, like they carry it in their hands and their joints. This person may have achy like knees or knee problems, but the joints especially. And as they get older, they may be more prone towards arthritis because of their hard work. Is there any other physical attributes? I'm seeing either gray hair or like brownish hair. Yellowish hair maybe. Yellow is a very significant color as well for some reason. Solar plexus as an attribute is kind of talking more about that insecurity with that card reversed. Mostly in them having a certain shame about an aspect of themselves that they can't change, which could be that they're balding or something. Is there anything else with that solar plexus card reversed? No. I think that's all I'm getting, sweet souls. If I do any more, it might be contradictory, so we're going to leave it at that. Okay. So we had a look at who they are as a person, how you're going to recognize them. What do we need to do next, Spirit? There's first impressions, but there's also how and when you're going to meet each other. So let's do that. Let's get some tarot cards out. Spirit, how and when will my group 3s meet their future spouse? How and when will my group 3s meet their future spouse, Spirit? Okay, we have the 7 of Swords reversed. We also have the 5 of Swords upright. Wow, okay. We also have the Queen of Cups reversed. Interesting. And last card I'm going to pull for you, there's a few that wanted to come out, is the 10 of Swords reversed. At the back of this deck is the Empress. So it's clear that this person will know what they want with you as soon as they meet you. And in order for you to bring this person into your life, you have to uncomplicate the energies that are in your life. You will be having to cope with a harsh ending in your life and a feeling of betrayal, as though somebody's energy switched up on you. And you will also have to learn from the patterns of behavior that you've experienced in dating specifically, in order to be able to see when someone is being authentic with you and when someone is not. It feels like you choose this person, which tells me that at the time that you meet them, you are talking to and seeing other people, and you have other people in your energy who are influencing you into the space of comparison. The way that you will know that this person is your future spouse is because of their honesty, their integrity, and the clarity. They never confuse you. They will come into your life at a time where you're actively seeking out deception because you have trust issues and because some of the other people in your energy who you're seeing and talking to are not being honest with you. You are also coping from an ending that could have happened just before you met this person, or just before you kind of decide to take the connection more seriously. There is a feeling here of you having to choose what is right for you at the expense of another person. And so you're having to put yourself first, which could arguably be seen as a selfish thing. However, it's a win or lose situation. You can't make everybody happy. So the very least you could do is make yourself happy. It feels like this person is going to come into your life at a time where you are having to communicate a lot. You're having to ask a lot of questions. You're having to be very observant, and you're having to do pros and cons lists of the people in your life and the people that you're meeting. It also feels like this person comes into your life when you're having a hard time trusting your empathy, your compassion, and your intuition. It's like you're assuming that the people in your life are here to not necessarily hurt you, but cause you harm in some way, as though everybody has an agenda and you're having a hard time trusting other people. This person comes into your life at a time where you feel very disconnected from your inner voice. You're trying to focus on what you need and kind of disconnect from your empathy. It feels like you're very protective of yourself, and although you may be getting to know multiple people, you're not showing people who you truly are. You're just sort of putting out a very rudimentary version of yourself, and you're not allowing your feelings to get too heavily involved in the beginning. There's something about the way that this person's patience and consistency is able to really get you into a space where you feel safe enough to take a chance on this connection. And it could be because you're comparing them to another person. I also think that other people may get into your head, family and loved ones or friends, because they almost look at this connection and look at your history and go, ugh, is this really going to work out? And so this connection being successful is dependent upon your ability to be selfish for all the right reasons. It's also dependent upon your ability to be discerning of red flags and of inconsistencies and people who pretend to want one thing while also just trying to get the benefits of another thing. So it does feel like you are rejecting other people in order to create space for this. I really think that this is someone who is who they say they are, maybe a little bit too honest at times with that Lilith reversed, a little bit too sort of humble and shameful at times. But with the Empress upright, this is definitely a connection that comes after you put in a lot of work into self and into the outcome that you want for self, which means what I'm kind of seeing is you pruning weeds out of the garden that you've created for yourself. I do think that you'll be actively dating when you meet this person. And I think that if it's not another love interest that you're pushing away, it is a loved one or someone who you thought was in your corner in order to make room for this connection. In terms of a timeline, Taurus season could be significant. What else do we have? We have a lot of air here. Nothing specific stands out though. Queen of Cups is technically like Cancer. Energy could be significant. And I'm pretty sure, oh no, they're not close together. Yeah. Empress spirit when it comes to timing. What else can you tell us? Physically and financially harvesting. No, it's not necessarily a harvest, but it is about growth, growing. You in your self-growth era, self-preservation mode, not because you're trying to survive, but because you're actively thriving. And so you're trying to protect what is thriving by being discerning of who you bring into your life. You do have trust issues too at the time that you meet this person. And it's showing up as being very specifically related to somebody's actions towards you. That happens at the exact time that you meet this person or just before you meet this person. Yeah. If you've known this person for a while, I just don't think that things get off the ground until you're able to focus on this connection and quiet all that background noise. You seem to be someone that attracts a lot of people, and there's a lot of people who are trying to kind of take advantage of the fact that you're high value, the fact that you have a lot to offer and you're very attractive. What else, Spirit? Yeah, some of you guys, this is very specific, may have been betrayed by the parent of your own child. And this is someone who comes in after that connection. You may even meet them while you're still pregnant. That's very specific though. Someone around you is pregnant at the same time. There is going to be the birth of a child at the same time that you meet them. What else with this Queen of Cups? Yeah, blocking. We're blocking someone. We're protecting ourselves from someone here. Pushing them away. Okay, that's as specific as I can get, my group. Threes. Let's have a look at your first impressions of each other now. What will group one's first impression... Excuse me, your group three. What will group three's first impression of their future spouse be? What will group three's first impression of their future spouse be? Okay. We have Garnet in the reverse position. What will their future spouse's first impression of them be? Oops. Okay. We have Natural Agate in the reverse position. So looking at their first impression of you, with natural agate here, we have more Empress energy, which we did see on the Empress card. This is Venus. We have the number 2. We have the earth element. We have the heart chakra, Anahata, which is the 4th chakra. And we have this asana here, this yoga pose, which is very meditative, very grounding. And it's very mindful of the fact that you're just letting your body breathe, channeling that energy up and down your chakras. So I feel like this energy, as their first impression, is that you're someone who has a lot of potential. It's not going to take them very long to feel as though you are partnership material. This is showing compatibility from the get-go. However they meet you, which seems to be very communicative, by the way, I feel like you will either meet this person online with all those swords, or you'll have the chance to spend a lot of time talking before you start to date. And in terms of other environments that you will meet them with the Empress and the Queen of Cups, I feel like there's going to be a lot of healthy boundaries established in those early stages that are considerate of your lifestyles and your responsibilities. So those early dates are going to be considerate of your capacity, of where you feel safe, and of the amount of free time that you have to do. So you're probably going to do something together that's very similar to what you would be doing in your free time. This person's just sort of tagging along, or they'll take you somewhere that they enjoy spending time in. A lot of quality time invested in those early stages. But I really think that you'll either meet them online, or you'll meet them while you're doing something that you usually do, in the habit of kind of putting yourself out there and meeting people. It's like you're very seasoned by the time you meet this person. You know how to meet people, and you know what works for you. And so you're doing that, and that's what leads to you meeting this person. And so their first impression of you is, as they observe you doing these things that you routinely do, they notice how comforted they feel in your presence and how natural the connection seems to be. This person is very drawn to the way that you physically act around them. They already see potential for you being a very kind, loving person, and they have the ability to see you being very grounded, very I don't want to say spiritual for some of you, but there is also an impression here of you being very connected to nature with this earth energy. They do think that you're very successful in some capacity. This doesn't mean that you have to be, extremely wealthy, but it does feel like whatever you do, you're good at what you do. And however you make money, you know how to spend it well. You're not sort of living outside of your means. But with this card reversed, there is a hesitancy to trust what they see and feel. Even though they see compatibility, they see potential, they may also be thinking with the lens of, well, you got to be careful though. You don't want to kind of get ahead of yourself here, or you don't want to make too many assumptions about this either. So the Venus energy here is saying that this person notices how well you take care of yourself. They also notice how, I want to say, you seem to kind of hold back from giving too much to other people too soon. They may be under the impression that they have these invisible tests that they have to overcome before they truly win you over. And I think this is the type of person that would rise to that occasion because they want to be rewarded by your sweetness, your compassion, your love, your kindness. This person is definitely looking at partnership as soon as they see you. They're not here for a quick time, they're here for a long time. With natural agate here, they are under the impression that you're very naturally attractive, very naturally beautiful, naturally handsome. And they have this impression that you stand out in a good way. You're a very refreshing sort of energy and presence. This person will value the connection from the beginning, and they will see you as someone who has that long-term potential from the beginning. So let's have a look at your side of this equation now. Your first impression of them is Garnet. And in this deck, Garnet is associated with the fire element, the number 13, Sagittarius, the third eye chakra, which is your sixth chakra. It's also known as Ajna. And this asana here, this yoga pose, which is very much a good stretch. I don't think everyone can do that. It's not a beginner's pose, that's for sure. But it is definitely a good pose to kind of get energy moving, momentum moving through your pelvic region and up your crown. So the thing is, I'm not actually that into yoga. I'm reading this very intuitively, but Garnet as a first impression feels very invigorating. Like there's a lot of energy coming from this person, and your impression of them is that they seem to be too good to be true in all the wrong ways. Like you're looking at them like this could go really well or really bad. Is this just another roller coaster with Sagittarius here? Is this another red flag? You may be hoping that you got lucky, but it also feels like you're taking a huge risk. You're almost gambling on this connection. Your first impression is that this person could really go either way, and your connection to them could go either way. Either it could be a really cute and happy ending, that's a really wonderful story to tell to other people, or it could be one of those stories that you're just like, man, I've got the craziest dating story for you. So it's like it's a huge gamble for you, a huge risk. And this person's energy definitely comes on very strong. Your impression of them is that they're very attracted to you and they feel very fiery towards you from the beginning, very passionate about you from the beginning. I do think with Ajna here, your intuition is trying to tell you something about this person, but it is blocked. You're not getting the full clear picture. You feel as though you're having to kind of navigate this situation with caution because you don't fully trust the way that you're feeling about this person. Garnet is a pretty positive sign for success, so I feel like you're trying not to get ahead of yourself in the beginning. You may be seeing positive signs and you may be getting good vibes about this person, good sort of little hints that they are somebody significant, but you may not truly trust it, especially with the number 13 here reversed. It's like you're thinking this is either going to be very unlucky or extremely lucky. And you may be feeling like this connection doesn't necessarily start in the best of ways, especially because at this time that you meet them, you're going through all of that energy that we saw previously with the Seven of Swords reversed. You're having a hard time trusting people. The Five of Swords upright, you're having to choose between this person and another person. And so you're putting a lot of faith on this being the right choice, even though it still feels like a risk that wasn't well calculated. So your first impression is really trying to kind of compare this person to past experiences and to current interests, love interests, to see how they compare and to see whether there's any red flags you recognize while practicing discernment. You're both trying not to get ahead of yourselves, but where this person feels like you're taking a really grounded approach, you feel like they're taking a really almost aggressive approach with how they show interest to you and interest in this connection. So that is your first impressions. Let's get some advice from your higher self now on how to bring this connection into your life. And then I'm going to go into your extended reading where we will focus more on the connection that you have with this person, group 3. Your extended reading will cover why and how the two of you will choose to be together, how you come into union, why you come into union, and we're going to have a look at what your connection with each other is going to be like. If there's any room for advice, we will do that in the extended as well. So if the first part of your reading is resonating and you wish to extend those messages and supporting this channel and what I do over here, the link to your extended reading is in the description box and the pinned comment. click on that link and make sure you select the right extended reading. That link takes you to a page where I host my extended readings. So it's really important before you spend any money that you click on the right reading. Remember your group 3 of the Who is Your Future Spouse reading that I posted in August 2024. Spirit, what advice can you offer my group 3 so that they can meet this person? We have the heart chakra. What advice? We have control reversed. What advice do you have for my viewers so they can meet this person soon? Yeah, that 7 of Swords is a lesson of discernment and also action and inquisitiveness. The biggest advice is to continue pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. If you haven't met this person yet, and if this reading didn't serve as confirmation that this person is already in your life, then the way that you can meet them is by continuing to evolve, to grow, and to create change in your life that is positive. Don't settle with this Teach card. This is about learning and absorbing the wisdom through the lessons so that ultimately you're getting to a space where you're attracting someone who's also able to meet your level of maturity. This person definitely comes into your life at a time where you are both most compatible for each other. It couldn't have happened sooner because you both meet at a time where you have room for each other, but you have the wisdom of previous heartaches and experiences to be able to know how to treat each other. So I do think that in order for you to attract this person in, you have to continue to push yourself. Don't settle and continue to focus on growth and evolution. You don't need to be the most evolved version of yourself in order to meet this person, as I do think the two of you will form a bond that creates a certain amount of security that encourages you to feel like you can continue to evolve with them by your side. But it is important that you continue to put yourself out there. And I can see with the 7 of Swords reversed that you will be kissing a few frogs before you meet this person. The Seek the Truth card is about asking the right questions and keeping an open mind. Try not to necessarily assume things about the people that you're dating. If you feel confused, if you feel uncertain, get to the bottom of it. Ask the right questions, because your future spouse is going to be able to give you the right answers, not because they know what you want to hear, but because they're saying with their heart open and honest exactly what you need to hear. Now, I do think that the Seek the Truth card reversed is about learning from the people that you've previously dated and interacted with, to be able to exercise discernment when you're in the talking stage with this person. This person is a green flag throughout the whole dating experience. And it's really important that you are using your discernment and your curiosity to ask the right questions to be able to figure out who the red flags are. It's highly likely that you'll be dating this person while you're trying to get to know multiple people at the same time. So ask the right questions to weed out the weeds so that you can find this beautiful relationship that is intended to grow. The heart chakra is a bit of a sore spot for this group. It's a reminder to stay open and receptive towards this ultimate relationship. It's in reflection to the hard lessons that you've learned in love, both romantic and platonic. And it's really a reminder that love can and will be a part of your future. This is something that is possible for you, and it is something that you deserve. And you need to continue to believe that for yourself. You need to continue to remain open-hearted and to remain optimistic about the fact that this can happen for you. And it will only happen for you when it is meant to. It's really important that you don't settle, and it's really important that you stay attached to your worth, to your self-worth, and to what you're learning about what you want in your future. This person will match that energy, and they will stand up to the occasion. They will rise to the challenge. Now, with control reversed in the middle here, this is a reminder of how we need to let go of certain expectations that create limits and boundaries rather than opportunities and expansion. Your love life when you meet this person is about you kind of casting a net, not restricting. So you need to be able to kind of put yourself out there, to let go of control, and to maybe try things a little bit differently this time around. Although this may be how you know you meet people, throughout the process of getting to know them, be a little bit more vulnerable, be a little bit more patient, be a little bit more compassionate, be a little bit more open and receptive. That is how you're going to really know this person and how they stand apart from the people that you're also talking to at that time. This 8 is also the Strength card. And when Strength is reversed, it tests our internal attributes of strength rather than our physical strength. It tests our compassion. It tests our patience. It tests our ability to forgive and move forward. So I think that overall, your advice with that energy is about having all of these qualities within yourself for yourself, because you deserve to come into union with this person. So be patient with yourself, be compassionate with yourself, and continue to believe that you can forgive and release your past, regardless of how you behaved and acted in those situations, because you deserve to be loved the way that you deserve to be loved. So that is what I'm seeing for you, group 3. I'm going to end your reading now and take it into the extended, where we will focus on your connection to your future spouse. So as I said, if you want to join me in that extended reading, the link is in the description box and the pinned comment. I will see you there. If this is where we're parting ways, thank you so much for all your time, your energy, your support. It's been an absolute pleasure to read for you today, and I appreciate you for trusting me with your messages. I hope that you've practiced discernment and taken plenty of notes to refer back to and reflect on. I wish you peace, prosperity, abundance, happiness, health, wealth, success, and joy in your journey ahead. Until our paths cross again, bye. Hi my group 4s, and welcome to your reading. If you recognize the malachite crystal or this trust card, then this is going to be your reading. I will put your crystal up here and we're going to get straight into it. We're asking Spirit, who is your future spouse? And we're also having a look at why and how you and your future spouse will choose to be together. Now, this part over here is for your extended reading specifically. So in order to get there, we do have to start here. Let's have a look at who your future spouse is first, starting with this trust card. Now, group 4, if I tune into your energy, it feels like your future spouse is going to be somebody that comes into your life with a feeling of faith involved. You may have your faith tested in order for this connection to work out, or there may be a period in which you're really having to trust that if this person is meant for you, they will be there for you. They will find a way to be a part of your life, and they will also find a way to be a part of your future. This is very interesting messaging first off the cuff. So I do want to get tarot cards to kind of clarify a little bit more about who they are to you. And then we'll have a look at their attributes. Spirit, who is group 4's future spouse? Who is group 4's future spouse, Spirit? Who is group 4's future spouse, please, Spirit? Who is group 4's? Okay. We have the 9 of Cups reversed. Who is group 4's future spouse, please, Spirit? And we have the King of Pentacles. Who is group 4's future spouse, please, Spirit? Okay. And we have the Tower. Interesting. At the back of the deck is the 10 of Pentacles reversed. Okay. So with this bottom deck energy, I'm getting two different scenarios. It feels like in order for your connection with your future spouse to take off, another connection has to fall apart. You guys will make a huge change to your lifestyles in order to come into union with each other. There feels like there's going to be a huge redirection when it comes to career, when it comes to assets, home life, legacy, and the type of lifestyle that you want to lead, which tells me with the 10 of Pentacles reversed that the two of you may need to make a lot of big picture changes in order to come into union. It could be possible that you're committed to other things that create conflicts in this connection in the early stages. This is somebody who you will have to make a lot of sacrifices and compromises for in order to make the connection work. I see you maybe leaving family behind, leaving a career behind, leaving a home behind, traveling overseas, that type of thing, like pretty big stuff. For the 10 of Pentacles to be reversed, it's like you're giving up on the future that you thought you wanted in order to make room for the future that this person and you can create together. It's very radical, and it feels like it involves a lot of sacrifice on your part. Your future spouse is going to be someone who's somewhat of a provider. They could be very wealthy with the King of Pentacles. They may also have some sort of reputation that they are conscious of, which means that people may have a lot of respect for them, but they may also be quite known. They do have an air of celebrity about them, whether that's on a global scale or just within their community. Now, I think with the 9 of Cups being reversed, your future spouse is someone who has to be very self-focused. And because of that, they need a spouse who kind of fits into the life that they're creating for themselves. And what is this life like? Well, with the 9 of Cups reversed, so this is a life that seems to be very, with the 9 of Cups and the King of Pentacles, very materialistically motivated. I think that your person may be very high profile, or they may be someone who operates with a lot of responsibility and a lot of financial responsibility. They are very much needing to, like, they only have room for really you and a few other close people. So I think that this is a connection that comes into union with a strong sense of trust in this person's ability to take care of you, to provide for you, and to build something that you can both feel proud of. And it really is requiring a lot of trust from them in you. Now, if you are looking for a relationship that is maybe a little bit more traditional, that has more traditional roles, I think that this is going to be that connection. I see one clear provider and another person who's more of the emotional support, who's more of the physical, who makes a lot more sacrifices, if I'm honest, in order to be there. So I think with the Tower being here as well, the two of you, and in terms of who your future spouse is to you as well, are going to have to go through a lot of upheaval in those early stages of connecting. There may be some strict rules from the beginning, depending on how high profile this person is and how much free time they truly have. I'm seeing a lot of rules around even just as simple as how often they can see you. And that extends to, with the Tower, how quickly the connection can progress. I feel like the Tower is representing very sudden changes that need to happen in order for the connection to evolve in a more stable way. So there may be a very short courting period, and then maybe the two of you are very serious and needing to be very serious about each other. Or there may be a very long and messy dating period where it feels very casual and a little bit all over the place because of this person's lifestyle and because of the expectations on you. You may be a little bit defiant and rebellious initially about settling into this because you may feel like it's a little too much and, you know, is there any room for me type of thing. So this is not a connection that you will be taking lightly. I see you both being very serious about this, having to be very measured. And I do see your future spouse being someone who is mature enough to be able to, you know, take a step back and evaluate the situation objectively, while also recognizing that they have a lot to offer. And I think that when they want you, like they really want you. Aries is a strong energy here. Pisces is a strong energy here. Cancer as well. And Capricorn, those cardinal energies are very, very strong. Is there anything else we need to know, Spirit, before we move on and have a look at this person's personality? We're going to have a look more at your union in the extended reading. This reading is really just focusing on who your future spouse is. So we're going to leave it at that for now. And let's have a look over here with the story dice at their personality. So Spirit, what can you tell us about Group 4's future spouse's personality? They're very focused on their public image and how they look. Okay, we're going to take those. We got 6 dice. Okay, so they're very physically fit. They may do a lot of different sports. Jiu-jitsu or wrestling could be one of them. Or MMA, mixed martial arts. Muay Thai, for example. Let's zoom in. So the first thing that came out was this die, and this is my exercise die. So I believe that this person is going to be very physically fit. Health could be something that they're very passionate about. They may not necessarily be, you know, extreme with it, but they do take their health seriously. For some of you, they will have a more defined build, you know, in terms of physicality, muscles, etc. are very obviously visible on this person's body. But I think this is representing them being serious about their health in general. This also tells me that this is a person who values routine and planning. They do like to be able to think long term, and they like to be prepared. With that being said, that Tower energy tells me that there are elements of your connection in the beginning that are very unplanned, which may be very unsettling for this person and hard for them to kind of work with. They may find it to be a bit of a red flag in the beginning. The fact that the connection cannot be so structured and predictable. The connection may be very spontaneous and may have flare-ups and setbacks, and it could be very concerning to this person as they do prefer structure. The next die that came out was really this die here. And for you, the words that came through was high achiever. I feel like this person is a high achiever. I think that they are someone that likes to feel like they're making a sense of achievement or gaining a sense of traction, direction. They also feel like someone who's building upon a legacy that they may have inherited. They could feel like they have the weight of other people's expectations on them, really propelling them forward and kind of prompting them to want to navigate things a lot more diplomatically. This person may also be responsible for other people in any given capacity, whether that's in terms of financially responsible or in terms of employment. This person honestly has a few people on their payroll, is what I feel. I wouldn't be surprised if they have people working for them in their personal life, not just their professional life. But I definitely think that this person is a high achiever. And because of that, they have very high standards. It's giving like an A personality, like type A Capricorn male. That's what it kind of feels like, or a Virgo male. Just very high standards, and they are probably a little bit hard on themselves as well because of that. Now, these 4 die in the middle all kind of came out together or very close to each other. The first die over here, it kind of looks like a sports player in an arena. So very literally, this person could play sports. They could be a sports athlete, or, you know, a known celebrity within their specific sport. This is baseball, but I also saw soccer or football, depending on what part of the world you're in. And I think this is reminiscent of the fact that they are someone who's out here achieving something. They are probably somebody who is working under the advice and guidance of like a mentor as well. They may have a lot of people looking up to them. They may be somebody that others aspire to be like, and they could have a public platform because of that. I'm really getting a lot of those messages again. What else with this card, or with this die, am I missing, Spirit? Yeah, there is a message here of like looking for something very specific. So because of this person's lifestyle, there may be a little bit of a contradiction when it comes to dating. Like the way that they approach their career may feel like it contradicts the way that they approach you. But you will eventually see that level of commitment and tenacity in your connection as well. The only way the two of you get into union is by overcoming those blips in the beginning, and by having faith that it will work out. I'm really curious to see how you come into union now. Sorry that is your extended reading. I didn't think it was going to be like this for every group. Like, you're my one group that you probably would have benefited more from doing this the other way around, having your union reading in the first part and then having your who are they reading in your second part. So just to be fair to the other groups, I have to stick to this theme, but I am so sorry that there's a lot of question marks around how you come into union. That doesn't usually happen. It's usually a little bit more like hinted to, alluded to, and then we're just filling in the gaps and getting more entertainment. But your extended reading is really going to pay off if this part of your reading does resonate. Now, with this die, I do see this person being a good problem solver. I wouldn't be surprised if this person is a good parent as well. They are somebody who seems to be very patient. They seem to be able to think, you know, pretty quickly on their feet under pressure, but they also respond really well to long-term effort. And this is the kind of person that maybe likes a challenge as well. They don't like to feel like something is too easy. So that's where you really intrigue them. I feel like their personality, while they may have wanted something more straightforward, what really draws them into your connection seems to be this idea of like, I just can't shake a feeling that I have for this person. Group 4 is still on my mind or in my energy, and you know, I shouldn't be. And so the part of them that likes to be successful in what they do wants to keep seeing where this is going to go with you and isn't ready to give up easily. They are not someone who gives up easily. Now, we did kind of talk about wrestling briefly in the beginning when I put this die down, but it's coming back to show that this person is a fighter. They stand up for themselves, but they also stand up for their loved ones. Their personality reflects somebody who isn't afraid to give it a fair go, as we say in Australia, which means that they don't give up easily, as we saw over here. But they also aren't afraid to kind of confront things head on, and that does include conflict. I feel like this person, if they do experience any sort of issues or problems, or even if like it's a challenging situation, whether it's with one person or a group of people, they don't shy away from that confrontation. They don't shy away from that opportunity to communicate and problem solve as well, is what I'm seeing. And with this arrow here, I feel like this person is pretty good at, again, problem solving. I think that they're going to offer you a refreshing detour in your life. As attached as you may have felt, there's something about this person and your future with them that seems to be very much what you wanted, even though it's not necessarily what you needed for a brief period of time because of the turbulence and because of the fact that you have to sacrifice to some extent your own personal needs. There is an aspect of this that is very fulfilling, and it is a feeling of like a means to an end. You doing what you need to do for a short period of time in order to enjoy a long period of time in bliss with each other. So this arrow does look like a redirection. It looks like a detour, and this person's personality type is able to make this seem a little bit less scary. There's something about them. You probably wouldn't do this for everybody, and they wouldn't do it for everybody too. There's something about the two of you that feels very unique, and it feels like this relationship deserves a chance, which is why you both decide to give it the green light and the go ahead. So that's what I'm seeing in terms of who your future spouse is with the die. I'm going to get some tarot cards out now just to get a bit more information. Okay. We're going to use the Spirit Speaks Tarot deck again. Or do we want to use... Oh yeah, that makes more sense. We're going to use the Oracle cards. Spirit, what can you tell us about my Group 4's future spouse's personality? What can you tell us about Group 4's future spouse's personality? Okay, we have Aries in the reverse position. So with this card, I do feel like they're a little bit impulsive. I think that Aries means that when they have the desire to do something, they really go after it. And because of that, there may be a little bit of impulsive sort of decision making that is connected to their ego from a place of wanting to be right and wanting to be successful. I think that part of them may kind of want to kind of do things really strongly, and then another part of them may feel like they're just doing too much. So it's an interesting contradiction. It almost feels like this could be applied to two different things. So as an example, impulsively, this person may be a very sort of creative person or somebody who likes to challenge themselves, so they say yes to things that they should be thinking through first. They may set goals for themselves that are a little bit unrealistic, but they push through and aim to achieve them to prove everybody, including themselves and their inner doubt, wrong. And so that's that impulsiveness. That's that like ego-based need to be successful. And they're constantly having to almost validate themselves, their inner critic, and others through these insane schedules or challenges and opportunities they make for themselves. Now, on the other side of that, this person may experience severe burnout because of these outbursts. They may feel like at times they just need to be alone, and they just need to have the freedom and autonomy to do what they want when they want. They may not be used to other people telling them what to do. They may not do well as a follower. They may feel like they're more of a leader and they need their independence. I'm also seeing that this person does come on quite strong, and because of that, they're not everybody's cup of tea. This doesn't mean that they're the loudest person in the room, but they're definitely a very strong character. And for all of you with this fiery energy, they always need an outlet. They always need a way to express themselves. And if they're not taking care of themselves, this frustration manifests through anger. and restlessness. So there's something very primal about this person's personality, and if they're not taking care of their basic needs, then they notice flare-ups in their frustrations and anger. Spirit, what else can you tell us about Group 4's future spouse? We have another reversal. The first house, you're joking. 2 Aries sorts of energies. The first house is about first impressions. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people don't get the right first impression of this person, for better or for worse, because of their public image or the status that they have, the reputation they have. A lot of people don't actually know who this person truly is. I can see that some people misjudge them for better, thinking that they are something that they're not in a good way. And then other people misjudge them for worse, assuming that they're something that they're not in a bad way. I think that this person isn't who they initially appear to be. And that could even be likened towards your first impression of them, Group 4. You guys may meet and think, oh wow, this person is like this, and that's just really full on, and I can't imagine, having to date someone like that. And then a couple of dates later, you get to see a different side to them, and you're like, wow, this is not what I expected to see from you. I didn't know that you were the kind of person who could be down to earth and casual and relaxed and calm as well. So I do feel like they have sort of one side and then they have another side. And depending on who you are, you only ever really see one side of them. And so you get to see both, and you get to observe how this person is often misunderstood from the first impression. Outside of that, the first house is about new beginnings. I think that this is someone who isn't afraid to be a trendsetter. Through no fault of their own, they may have acquired a certain amount of success by having to be thrown in the deep end, and instead of drowning, they learn to swim. So there's a part of their success, or whatever it is that they are known for and are successful in, that makes them a weird sort of role model. It's like you wouldn't want to mimic their journey, but you would want to mimic their success. And so that's an interesting trait to have, because it's like, I don't want to do what you had to do to get to where you are, but I want what you have. I do think that this is reminiscent of this person's warrior spirit and their ability to be like relentless and not want to kind of like slow down when it comes to the traction that they gain when they're on the right path. This is a very ambitious person. I don't know if I've said that yet. And like when they do want something, they really go for it. Let's see what else we can gather from this energy. Spirit, what else can you tell us about who Group 4's future spouse is? Yeah, they're very stubborn as well with this Aries energy. The Ram is very stubborn. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Aries is not their sun sign though. They could be an Aries moon sign. Or even an Aries rising. With the Sagittarius card, this is going to be our last card we take from this deck too, by the way. You got a lot of fire here. Your future spouse is someone who's very passionate, very creative, very fiery. At times they're an underdog, and at other times they're everyone's good luck charm. I feel like a lot of people like to know what this person's up to because of the idea that it might brush off on them as good luck. They may have a very unique demographic of people that they represent, like they could be a minority in their community, and that's inspiring in itself. I feel like this person has an element of them that is lucky for sure. Like they may be superstitious in some capacity too. They may have superstitious rituals that they live by, and this seems to reward them. They may also have a spiritual side to them that is very connected to a loved one who has passed away, like a paternal or maternal figure that they pray to in order to gain a level of security or direction When they feel lost, they may pray to this person that's passed. But outside of that, the Sagittarius energy represents someone who is optimistic and desires expansion. They are a soul that is hungry for experience, a seeker. And they're not just seeking information, they're seeking experiences, and they're seeking the chance to be able to say on their deathbed that I've really tried my hardest in this lifetime. Pretty big energies coming from this person. Let's just see your bottom deck energy to see if there's anything that I've missed. Neptune reversed. This is more kind of that mystical energy. There's a connection here to Jupiter that could be significant, but now I'm also seeing Pisces in general. Neptune reverse tells me that this person uses their hopes and dreams as fuel. They don't like to get carried away in what they think they could be, though, until they're starting to like really see traction. So I feel like this person likes to be realistic about their dreams, and it's not in a way that limits their growth. It's in a way that forces them to be accountable, because I really think that this person is a dreamer. I think as a kid their head was in the clouds. Whatever creative project they were into, whatever interests they had, they threw themselves at it. They have an addictive personality in that way, and this person may be prone to patterns of addiction that they mitigate by becoming more addicted to things that are less physically harmful. This could be why fitness and health is a priority for this person, because they don't want to be on a road where they're gambling with their lives or their health. I feel like this person may be into extreme sports or adrenaline junkie stuff because of that hunger and that desire to experience so much in this lifetime. But with Neptune reversed here, they really try to battle with some sort of inner behavioral pattern that makes them want to constantly go back for what feels good. It's an addictive sort of personality trait. Outside of that, Neptune reversed is talking about this person's ability to ground an aspect of their fantasies again to make reality. So I feel like I've already said that. That's really what I'm seeing for your future spouse. So I'm going to pack these cards up and we're going to have a look at your first impressions of each other. I had to think for a second because you guys are different to my other groups, so I may take tangents. If you've watched all of the groups, you'll notice that they're not all exactly the same. Depending on what comes through in your readings is really what we cover, with the overall goal being who is your future spouse. So I'm going to have a look at your first impressions of each other. Actually, we're going to get physical attributes first. Spirit, is there anything you can tell us about this person's physical appearance? We did get a little bit, but I'll see if anything else comes through. Spirit, is there anything you can tell us about this person's physical appearance? What is Group 4's future spouse's physical appearance? We have Tiger's Eye. I kind of knew Earth was coming out. That's crazy. What else can you tell us about their physical appearance, Spirit? What else can you tell us about Group 4's physical appearance? Okay, I kind of pictured that. If they are identified as like a female, I feel like they are thick. They've got curves. They have shape. And I do think that this person is attractive. I think that a lot of people would think that they are attractive. There's a lot of earth energy in this reading. We have the Ace of Pentacles, Prosperity Begins, at the back of this deck. So there's something really earthy about this person's appearance. They may have a tanned complexion, or they may prefer to put tanning stuff on. They may also have tan lines because of what they do for work or what they do in their free time. I'm seeing smile lines on this person's face, which could also indicate dimples. I'm also seeing the color orange being significant. It could be their hair color. It could be a color that they like to wear often. But it's coming through as more of like an apricot orange, a soft orange, not like a bright orange, more of like a soft, natural, kind of nearly neutral orange. Outside of that, I feel like this person doesn't like to switch up their appearance too much. They may prefer a more classic or clean look, which means that the Capricorn could be their Venus sign. They come across as somebody who prefers clean sort of presentation. They may have a very straightforward way of dressing in that, you know, they look like they make their money that they do, but they don't necessarily flash it off and try to come across as wealthy. Now, in terms of other physical appearances, I think that this person's clothing style is a reflection of the experiences they're most proud of. You know, so if they are very proud of the work they do, they dress in relation to the work they do. If they feel very excited about a country they recently visited to, they will dress appropriately to that place that they recently visited. If they are proud of their cultural heritage, they dress in a way that represents that. There's something about the way that they like to show themselves in terms of personality that is linked to pride and experiences that they feel proud of. The number 10 is significant for some reason, as well as the number 3 and the number 31. So I'm kind of thinking that there's a connection here to the ages, or with the number 10, it could even be a lucky number, something that they're known by. You know, if they're an athlete, maybe that's their jersey number or their shirt number. Now, I think that this person's posture is pretty good. That's something that stands out, is how they carry themselves. They can be a couch potato, but they are somebody who looks like they are active and looks like they are you know, take care of their physical health. This person may have sight issues that aren't too bad, but will get bad when they're older. And it could be something that was quite progressive, like there was nothing for a certain period of time, and then all of a sudden it got really bad, and they may need to get surgery in order to correct their eyesight. Nothing too hectic though. I feel like LASIK surgery would be able to do it. Fertility reversed, Taurus reversed. Yeah, I don't get that this person has a lazy bone in their body. They're very like up and go. They're probably more of a morning person, if I'm honest. If they do sleep in, it's really when they're sick, and it's really when their body is begging them to rest, and they're more likely to have an early night than a late morning. Is there anything else? Taurus reversed, fertility reversed. It's interesting. If they're a female, I believe that this fertility energy is implying something about them putting a lot of effort into how they look. I don't think that this person feels naturally blessed in the looks department. They feel like they have to put in a lot of money, time, and effort into like making themselves look good. So they may feel high maintenance. Their words, not mine. I believe this person has a dry or very straightforward humor. What really draws you into them seems to be their personality overall. They're very calm. They feel ready for anything. And they feel like the kind of person that you want in your corner. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing. Let's have a look at your first impressions of each other now. I'm going to use this deck again, this Gem Oracle deck. Spirit, what is my viewers' first impression of their future spouse? What is my viewers' first impression of their future spouse. Okay, we have Unakite coming out for you, which is the number 9. We also have Pluto, Muladhara, which is the root chakra. We have fire. And we have this asana here, this yoga pose. Spirit, what is their future spouse's first impression of them? We have light amethyst, which is the number 7. It's also represented by Uranus, this yoga pose, and the third eye chakra ajna, as well as the air element in this deck. So straight off the cuff, I can see that this is a connection that has a lot of love. The two of you are genuinely going to care about each other. At the back of the deck, it's going to feel like you were meant to be in each other's lives. And this person will be the first one to say, like, not everybody can put up with me. Group 4 is the one because of how much they love and support the real me. Not the version that other people get to see, but the real me. Now, your first impression of your future spouse is that they're a very grounded, passionate, almost intense person. And you will observe immediately that they have layers. They're a complex person. They're not straightforward, even when they try to be. They have a lot of stuff going on, and they may even seem a little scary and intimidating with Pluto here. You may assume that this is somebody that has baggage. This is somebody that not only has a lot going on, but has a lot planned. You may feel like their life and their schedule and their goals are really hectic. They're always kind of at it, full throttle, achiever mode. They come across as a very driven person. And they have a lot of people in their corner supporting them to be this way. But one of the first questions that crosses your mind when you get to know this person is, how the heck do you do all of this? How is it physically possible for any one person to pull this off? And with this root chakra energy here, what you're really going to enjoy learning about this person is that they never really project what they expect on themselves onto you. Their connection to you is very grounding, assuring, and more than anything, as a spouse, they just want to be able to give you stability, security, comfort, something that you can feel safe in. And it's by no means a feeling of survival mode. This person will give you a very comfortable lifestyle. Now, their first impression of you with light amethyst is that you're a very breezy, rebellious, free-spirited, open-minded, out-of-the-box thinker. You're the kind of person that stands out to them, and they're very drawn to you because of how individual you seem to be compared to the other people around them. This is the type of person that probably has people setting them up. They probably have other people recommending romantic options to them. But the person that they want is you, my group 4s. They honestly feel like something about you was divinely guided, and that could be their spiritual side. Their first impression is that you seem like someone that they have prayed for. Not manifested, but prayed for. They also see you as someone that's very intuitive, and you probably have a very strong mind. Whether you communicate a lot or not, what you have to say is very clear. And you even come across as a little bit outspoken sometimes to this person. You're not afraid to speak your mind to them, which is really refreshing. Some of you may have a very bold personality, and what you say may get you into trouble sometimes. But this person likes that you're not afraid to say it for how it is. They value your authenticity, and they see you as someone who is ultimately very different to other people that they may have tried to date previously, but they really like that about you. This person may feel a strong sense of friendship to you in the beginning, getting very curious about how your mind works and about what you're thinking about and about what your opinion is of them. Not because they base their whole life around your opinions, but because there's something very guidance-based about your opinion of them. They may feel like you see straight through them to some respect, or they may feel like you get them in a way that they don't have to over-explain. They also feel like you take time in the beginning to get to know them for who they truly are, rather than the reputation that they have, and they really value that. So that's what I'm seeing when it comes to your first impressions. There's one more thing that I have to check. Let me just scour my brain. When and how you will meet. That's right. We know why, in the extended reading, we're going to focus more on your connection and how you come into union as spouses. But we're going to have a look at how you may meet this person now. Spirit, how is my group 4s likely to meet this person? How are my group 4s likely to meet this person? Okay. We have Eros. How are my group 4s? We have Taurus. And at the back of the deck is Solar Eclipse reversed. Is there a time frame on when? Let's get a tarot card. Just one card, please, Spirit. When are my group 4s likely to meet their future spouse? When are my group 4s likely to meet? We have the 7 of Pentacles, so it could take years from when you see this, especially if you're younger. It could take 7 years or within 7 years. But I feel like you're going to meet this person. Okay, this is interesting, because the 7 of Pentacles reverse is about uprooting. So you meet this person at a time where it feels transitional for you. You physically moved to a new place. You physically tried a new career. 7 of Pentacles though, 7 years, within 7 years. Now, if you are mature, the way that you meet this person is going to make more sense with these cards, which tells us how. And the how, in terms of the circumstances, can really help paint a picture of when you're going to meet them. I find personally the way I read tarot is not accurate with timelines if I just say a number. So the best thing that I can do as a reader is give you circumstances. So let's have a look at how. With Eros reversed, it feels like this could be a crush initially that isn't expected to develop beyond that. So the way that you meet this person is by hearing about each other. And the way that you hear about each other with Taurus being here is because you're in similar environments. You do things that means that you're in the same sort of circles in some way. Taurus makes me think that you don't have to do too much outside of your routine, which is why in order to meet this person, you have to be at a point in your life where you're putting effort into feeling and looking good. The time that you meet this person, you'll feel confident, you'll feel successful in your own right, and you will feel as though you too have a solid routine for self that is inclusive of people who support you, who love you, who build upon you. You're not going to be in environments where you feel insecure, where you feel as though you're not your best self, even if you're not perfect. There is a strong feeling of you having a level of success that allows you to have access to this person and vice versa. You and this person meet because your circles cross over in quite remarkable ways. I can see with solar eclipse reversed, there is an energy here of being quite close to each other for some time before you meet. So it's going to feel like you're going to see this person around. You'll know of them before you truly get to meet them. And that's why your first impressions seem to be the way that they are, because you'll have the chance to observe each other at a distance, or to have like a quick meeting and know of each other before you truly get to know each other deeply. This could be a situation where you don't think that it's going to lead to anything. It's just an initial spark or an initial expression of interest, and you just think, oh well, like that's not going to turn into anything. So how you meet seems to be in an environment that you're both pretty comfortable in. It's an environment that feels like it's geared around looking like you are successful and promoting networking within a successful environment. I don't usually get that messaging from Taurus, but I'm really feeling the bougie side of Taurus here. I'm really feeling the side of Taurus that is likened to the King of Pentacles in some decks. The side of Taurus that seems to be more physically rewarding because of the effort and routine that Taurus offers. And it feels like you and this person will be drawn to the fact that, well, we're in the same crowd already, we're in a similar community already, and so it's a bit easier to kind of let my guard down and get to know this person better. Now, in terms of social circles, honestly, you could start off as acquaintances, or it could be like a working relationship, like a work connection that introduces you to each other first, that offers that initial meet, right? Because I'm not seeing a really personal connection at first. I don't feel like your best friend is gonna introduce you, or your sibling or a family member. It feels like you might know each other just because you're rubbing shoulders, or, you know, a work colleague is like, hey, have you met my friend, blah, blah, blah. It kind of feels, yeah, a little bit more structured and professional. But the key word here is environment. So I feel like the two of you are going to meet in a setting that feels set up. It feels structured. It feels intentional. It's not just a casual meeting with Taurus here. Like somebody put an event together and you both were invited and you both met at that event. Not because you were the only people there, but because you both had a reason to be there. That's what it feels like. Very specific. So I do think that this is likely to come into your life when you are somewhat of a professional, or when you have the financial means to be in those circles, or at a time when you're having access to connections that can get you into those circles. That's what I can see when it comes to the how and the why. The when and the how you will meet this person. Is there anything else, my group? Yeah, you need advice from your higher self. Spirit, what does group 4's higher self have to say to them in terms of advice on how they can bring this future spouse into their lives? What does group 4's higher self have to say to them in terms of advice on how they can bring their future spouse into their lives? Okay, we have the 7 of Pentacles. So you've got to trust that this person comes into your life at a time when you are ready. Okay, don't rush this. Don't rush the idea of settling down, and know that this connection finds you when it is meant to. Your whole process of meeting your future spouse and coming into union with them involves trust. This is going to take time. It's going to take a level of growth, and it may be because love is something that is on the back burner, but it's also because of them. I don't think that you were supposed to meet them sooner. I think once you really get to know each other, when you're later in life, when you're a bit more mature, you're going to realize that you wouldn't have been attracted to each other at a younger age. There are aspects of your personalities that don't really even out until later in life. Especially if this person is masculine, it feels like their energy is really rough around the edges. They come across as a bit of an impulsive person, or not the most likable person. The kind of person that people are a little bit afraid of because they are so ambitious and driven. So you get to meet them on the tail end of their wild years, where they are more focused on long-term growth and they are recognizing the qualities they want to have in serious relationships. So Spirit, what else can you tell them about how they can meet their future spouse? Is there anything else they need to know? I'm hearing need to trust that your future spouse is going to be attracted to you, which means that there is a level of healing that you need to do within yourself in your quote-unquote formative years. You may have already done this. It just depends what stage of your journey you're in. But for this group, there's a period where you're younger, where you're very easily influenced by people around you, your peer group. And it could have to do with the institutions you're in, especially school, college, etc., the workplace. This idea of you needing to be competitive, needing to be the best of the best, needing to look perfect could be something that you resonate with in your younger years. And you're going to heal that to a point where it never truly leaves you, right? That kind of stuff really impacts the trajectory of your life and your personality, but you don't let it control you. When you meet your future spouse, you're going to be secure enough in yourself to know that you deserve a seat at that table. And you're going to be secure enough in yourself to know that you have the wisdom to tackle this connection. Because this is a connection that does upheave aspects of your lifestyle, you're going to have to be able to trust in yourself and your ability to make a smart decision about what changes you're willing to accept and what changes you're not willing to accept. And then we have the Five of Pentacles. So earth signs are very significant in this group. The Five of Pentacles is saying that your advice is to gain a source of connection until you meet this person. Don't isolate yourself. Don't deny yourself. Don't deprive yourself. You deserve love. You deserve connection. And with the Five of Pentacles here, your only advice is to make the changes necessary at every stage of your journey that will make you happy. Don't delay those changes because you think it's not going to lead to anything permanent. Do what you know is going to make you happy in that moment. Some of you guys may resonate as people who are waiting until marriage. You don't want to do this until you have a significant partner in your life or somebody who you can share the journey with. It's really important that you create the changes necessary to satisfy the needs that you have here and now. Don't deprive yourself of those needs, especially connection, especially success, and especially chances or taking chances that could lead to success. No matter how temporary it seems, it's still experiences that you'll be grateful you gave to yourself. Your future spouse is someone that comes to you in the future for a reason. You're meant to live a life before you meet them, not just with them. So that is what I'm seeing for you, my group 4s, in terms of your Who is Your Future Spouse reading. I'm going to take your reading into the extended now, where we will focus on your connection. This is going to have a look at the how and the why the two of you choose each other as your future spouses. So I do think that this is going to be very revealing for you. If the first part of your reading has resonated, the link to your extended is in the description box, as well as the pinned comment in the comment section. Now that link does take you to a page on my website where I host all my extended readings, or most of them technically. So please make sure you click on the right group before you purchase your reading. Make sure you've selected group 4 of my Who is Your Future Spouse reading. that I posted in August 2024. Thank you so much, sweet souls, for all of your time, your support, and your energy right here on YouTube. Until our paths cross again, I wish you peace, prosperity, abundance, happiness, health, wealth, success, and joy on your journey ahead. Look after your beautiful selves. Bye.